to see different before I believe this. And I am going to need to see Jackson Arnold play the full quarterback position before I believe that Jackson Arnold is a quarterback that can be good enough to have Auburn in that discussion.
All right. Game ball for Auburn if they win the game other than Jackson Arnold, who would it be?
Jeremiah Cobb.
Jeremiah Cobb running the ball. Yeah. Austin's back as well.
Austin is back, and I think they will definitely share carries. But to me, I think Cobb is the better back right now, and their path to victory is running the football consistently against a really good Oklahoma defense.
Alternate answer. A name we just haven't said enough this year, Keldrick Falk.
I think he's got one sack.
He's got one sack. I mean, I thought Keldrick Falk was going to be a massive disruptor for this Auburn defense, and he just hasn't been. But if you're going to play John Mateer, you got to get some pressure on him. So if Keldrick Falk had a big game, that would be amazing timing for Auburn.
I don't know if Jay Crawford will end up playing.
And the fine folks at Champy's Chicken on Highway 119 in Alabaster want to welcome you in for a great lunch or dinner starting at 11 a.m. every day. Chicken that's brined overnight and cooked to order, and the taste of the Delta with those Delta recipe tamales. Champy's is perfect for all your tailgating needs this football season. You can also choose Champy's for your next party, wedding, or birthday. Great food, great people. Champy's Chicken on Highway 119 in Alabaster, and everything online at champyschicken.com.
This is what being a NASCAR fan is all about. Singular history and tradition.
Thank you, everybody, for coming out.
And triple-header playoffs action to ratchet up the stakes. Throw in a can't-miss concert, and you've got more than a race. You've got Talladega. NASCAR Playoffs Weekend at Talladega, October 17th through the 19th. Get your tickets now at TalladegaSuperspeedway.com. Ticketmaster, the official ticketing partner of NASCAR.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between two warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
Have you been injured in an 18-wheeler accident, company truck accident, car accident, or work-related accident? Call Alabama's largest personal injury firm. Alexander Shinara Trial Attorneys will fight for every dollar you deserve, and it won't cost you a dime. Trust me. What do you say, man?
Call me, Alabama.
Call 659-777-7777 or go to Shinara.com.
No representation made that the legal services provided are better than legal services provided by other attorneys.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
All right, we're live now in the next round, Monday overreaction. We'll get back to college football in just a second. We'll get to the NFL in just a second. We got breaking news this morning from Chris Lowe, and it's not going to make the folks at the SEC office happy because they got a whole show about this coming up on Tuesday night. But Chris Lowe on 3 Sports breaking some news, brought to you by our friends at Breakline. It's breaking news, Brownie.
That's right. Breakline Optics brings us the breaking news every time we have it. BreaklineOptics.com, code TNR30. For 30% off your order at BreaklineOptics.com. Oh, Chris Lowe. You think Greg Sankey hits the roof when he sees this?
I do. Hopefully Chris has his glasses on this morning, his Breakline glasses.
That's right. Can't break these lenses if somebody throws something at them. They are unbreakable. Great-looking glasses. You can get yours right now. BreaklineOptics.com, code TNR30 to save 30% off your order at BreaklineOptics.com. They always bring you our breaking news.
And the breaking news is the annual opponents from Chris Lowe on 3 Sports, and they're reporting this like this is the done deal. So I guess the SEC could go in the next 20 hours, switch things up a little bit before the big reveal on Tuesday night on the SEC network. But per Chris Lowe, the annual opponents are set, and they've got a cool graphic out and everything for Alabama.
I think
little surprise.
Well, on the third one, 2 of them are there. There's so many of these where you would say, well, the first 2 are automatic. I wonder what they'll go the third one. Alabama, according to Chris Lowe, is annually going to face Auburn, Tennessee, and almost, if I pause right there, I think everybody watching or listening would say the same thing. Lance, you said LSU.
Yeah.
No.
It's what it should be.
It's Mississippi State.
Yeah.
Very old, long-running rivalry. Auburn, Alabama, Georgia. If I'd paused there, what would you have said? Alabama, Georgia, pause.
I wanted Florida because of the historic value there.
I took a random shot and said Ole Miss.
Yeah, something like an old West, SEC West school. Nope, Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
That traditional Auburn-Vanderbilt rivalry is going to live.
I got ready for that one because that one sort of had leaked out earlier as the possibility. I think it was it was Pete Thamel that had a list back in the day, and that sort of felt like that one. But those are the two for Alabama and Auburn. You bounce around to some others for Georgia, Auburn, Florida, and South Carolina. It's the Tennessee one that I think really rung your bell. Tennessee's rivalries, Alabama, but then they get their two, it's all their big rivals technically, Kentucky, Vandy, and Alabama, but if you've watched modern-day Tennessee football, that's not their best TV games.
No, I mean, Georgia and Florida, we grew up at a time in the 90s, the Florida-Tennessee game was the game of the decade every single year in the SEC, and it was, unfortunately for Tennessee, it was the game that decided who was going to represent the East in the SEC championship game, and, more so it went the way for Florida, but to not see that on a year-in, year-out schedule is pretty disappointing. But, look, this is difficult to do. We talked about it for the last few months anytime it would come up on how difficult this thing actually is to do.
If I'm Tennessee today, though, that's the one that's laughing.
Oh, they got to love it.
I mean, I knew I was going to play Alabama. If I'm Tennessee, I knew I was going to play Alabama. But, boy, I get Vanderbilt and Kentucky every year. Are you kidding me?
Yeah. Do you think Auburn fans are excited about having Vanderbilt? I mean, it sucks that that's one of your games, but most years it's a win.
Yeah.
Historically, this is the worst time to ask that question.
Yeah, it really is.
It's the best Vandy team maybe we've seen in our
coming
lifetime.
off 70 points.
Yeah, they just been 70 on Georgia State. But I don't think anybody thinks that's got staying power there at Vandy. So I think, moving forward, you're probably okay with that game.
Again, this is for 4 years. We'll get the full schedule release and how the other 6 of the 9-game schedule is paired. And it all balances out. I try to warn people that when you see these 3 games, you're going to think, Tennessee's got the easiest schedule. Well, their other 6 has got to be tougher than if you've got the toughest. Say Texas, who's got Arkansas, Oklahoma, and Texas A&M. If you think that may be the toughest, or whomever you think is the toughest, you can say, well, those other 6 games is going to make that back to the medium, to the even ground. If you've got the easiest like Tennessee, those other 6 games
that's a good point.
Going to rise you up to the even. It's the other 6 games that's going to make the schedule, and that'll balance it out.
Yeah, because if you're Tennessee, you're picking 6 games out of Arkansas, Auburn, Florida, Georgia, LSU, Mississippi State, Missouri, Oklahoma, Ole Miss, South Carolina, Texas A&M.
That's right.
You're picking 6 games out of that group every year. I mean, that's a tough group. If you just throw a dart at a dartboard for 6 games out of that group, that's tough.
Yeah, so that's how it all balances out. So don't overreact to the permanent opponents. And by the way, according to Chris Lowe and Brett McMurphy and others last week, they're not permanent, just for 4 years. It's going to be reevaluated every 4 years. So historically, some of these can move around to try to keep the even balance going from the SEC office. Good by them. Go ahead.
I was just going to say I do have a theory because, you guys are saying that Greg Sankey's upset with Chris Lowe today. I mean, how often do you see the SEC release a statement on their own?
About a missed call?
Yeah, I mean, I rode up the elevator with Auburn fan, our buddy Luke next door, and he's like, man, I can't believe they posted a statement. So is there any chance that Chris Lowe leaks this to take away the attention of us talking about how bad the officiating was?
This is the play-action fake?
No, because we're about to talk about that. The show brought to you by a couple of our great sponsors. One of them is our great friend Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing. You can jump in before we jump into the Auburn hashtag ref ball. Greg will hashtag get on your roof for free and give you a free no-cost roof inspection there. 205-542-3531, 205-542-3531, or Greg from Pell City on Facebook, or you can go to their Storm Restoration Roofing website there. Greg and his wife Andrea run the company locally owned for over 20 years. What Greg has done is design a bunch of different ways to help you as a family manage your roofing needs, whether it's storm repairs. He can do that for you, and he's got great relationships with the insurance providers, the inspectors, and that's going to help you when it comes to your claim. If your deductible is out of whack, he's got some family-friendly financing available for you. And he also has A-plus rated services. His sons and sons-in-laws are on the cruise. It's locally owned, so they're not going anywhere. They're going to back up their work right there at Storm Restoration Roofing, 205-542-3531, or Greg from Pell City on Facebook. And our friends at Bojangles. Brownie gets us into what's cooking in college football.
It can always be bow time for you at Bojangles. Those great hand-breaded tenders, the great dips and sauces that go with them. They got 7 to choose from. It's a great idea for your tailgate parties at your high school games, or your college games, or that college football watch party at your house. You can make it bow time for that. And tomorrow morning on your way to school or work, you can grab breakfast there at Bojangles. That pork chop griller is back for a limited time. You've missed it. It has missed you. Go back and enjoy the pork chop griller from Bojangles, where it can always be bow time.
Ross Dellinger, by the way, is the guy who had the original list of permanent rivalries that I think his research and what ADs thought it was going to be. He writes today, SEC used several factors to determine the team's 3 annual opponents: geography, parity, and traditional rivalries. And he says the original list of permanents circulated 2 to 3 years ago has changed pretty dramatically. That from Ross Dellinger today. So that's tomorrow's story. Today's story is what we saw this weekend. And just 3 big plays that jumped out in a hard-fought Oklahoma win over Auburn, which I thought, there were a lot of penalties, a lot of sacks, and not a lot of offense, but I thought 2 really good defenses. So points were at a premium. The K and Lee scoop and score, the overturn, the deceptive substitution hideout play that led to Oklahoma's first touchdown, the one you were talking about on the elevator ride, and then the pass interference no call on the Singleton pass to Cam Coleman, where the referee's having to get out of the way and has his back turned to the play. Those 3 jumped out as you watch this game. And I said this, and you guys know I come in defending SEC officials for 15 years. I've done that. And I still believe SEC officiating is better than anywhere else in the country in college football. But this stacked on stacked on stacked was probably the worst officiated SEC game I'd ever seen.
Massive, massive plays. The crazy thing, if you say they're going to throw 22 flags in this game, but they're going to miss 2 of the 3 that you just talked about.
It's not like they didn't throw any penalties. Yeah.
Well, and you heard, I didn't realize that the hideout tactic was something that was such a point of emphasis in the offseason.
Yeah, it's been an illegal play for a long time.
Yeah, I knew that, but I didn't realize that they had talked about it as much as they did in the offseason. And you would think, how do you miss that? But go back to the scoop and score that would have put Auburn up 7-0 and probably dramatically changes that game altogether. How you can go back and review that and overturn it.
Yeah, so I've got a bigger issue with that one.
Yeah. To his point, you sit there and watched it 16 times.
Impossible to be, conclusive that, hey, we can confirm we got the call wrong on the field.
That's right.
And their ruling, keep in mind, was incomplete pass. So their ruling is not that the ground calls the fumble or that he had possession all the way to the ground or any of that. Their ruling was he never secured the pass and put it away. And it goes back to the discussion, and I don't know how you rule it this way, but as fans, we watch games and we're like, if it looks like a catch, it ought to be a catch.
That's right.
Now, I know you can't make that the rule. Like, just go to review. If it looks like a catch, call it a catch. But we as fans, that's what we want. And I don't know about you guys.
And the call on the field was a fumble touchdown.
Yeah. Well, they let it go as they're taught now to do. Let it go.
But nobody blew a whistle.
Nobody called it incomplete. They just let the play go, and then we'll fix it on replay. But I don't know about you. I thought the only way that play gets overturned is if they determine the ground calls the ball to come out. I never thought it was getting overturned. I never once thought, they're going to call this incomplete pass.
Yeah.
Just watching in real time, did that look like a catch to you?
Oh, yeah.
That looked like a catch to you?
It did to me, but I'll give credit to Greg McElroy and then to Matt Austin when they got his mic on. They both said, I think the first thing they're going to look at is whether or not it's a catch or not.
Right. Which then I thought, if that's the case, this play stands.
Yeah. And then they watched it, and and then Sean McDonough, I think, is fantastic at this. He says, at some point, if it's taken this long, how can you say it's not inconclusive? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If we're taking this long, and if we looked at it so many times, and as they were doing it live on the air, I kept thinking to myself, I wish this was an ACC game because we could hear what they were talking about.
Boy, if you think we'll get that in the SEC after Saturday, I don't know if we ever will. Can you imagine what that must have sounded like?
Well, look, I know we'll get to the NFL at some point, but when I saw Brown when I walked in, he asked about the Rams yesterday, and I told him that's probably, and it's in the here and now, but maybe the worst I've ever taken a regular season loss. But back to Auburn, like, I can't imagine for you to have a game stolen. And that's what happened in that. Auburn should have won that game. They should have won the game, and because of those 3 calls, even the back official where he was turned around on the pass interference from the throw from Singleton, like, somebody else has got to be able to step in that situation. That is obvious contact.
Yeah. The one game I officiated, the Alabama A-Day game, right? My call was never in the secondary. I was a line judge.
Yeah.
But I threw a flag one time for pass interference because I think it was Clay Travis. I don't think he saw it where he was. I thought he was blocked. So I threw one pass interference flag because I could see it where I was. I could see him holding the jersey. Somebody had to help the guy out because he was trying to get out of the way. He had his back turned. The picture, you can see him running away from it.
Guess what? Throw that flag and you can always pick it up.
Yeah.
Then you have a discussion. And look, okay, your point of view, you were turned around. What did you see?
Yeah.
And by that point, hell, if I got to cheat and look up at the board, it's obvious.
We saw that happen once.
Oh, yeah. You want to get the call right, though.
That's right. I just – the reason I say, like, the whole sideline, the whole faking the substitution thing, that's a bad miss. That's the one they commented on. The reason I say I've got a bigger issue with the other one is that was 100% 7 points on the board.
Yep.
Now, obviously, it's 7 points on the board. If they get the substitution call right, I get it. But, I mean, I literally saw Auburn pick that ball up and run to the end zone and score a touchdown. The interference down there, you never know what's going to happen. Is Auburn going to score there? Probably. But I never know what's going to happen. I literally saw Auburn run the ball in the end zone.
These guys are too good to not only confirm that call, but to not at least huddle up and get the PI right.
And the way that game played out, you never know how a game changed. The way that game played out, being up 7-0 early was very important for Auburn.
Right. And then that touchdown on the deceptive substitution hideout play gave the momentum to Oklahoma. And Auburn did lead. They led 17-16 in the fourth quarter on the road in a pumped-up, juiced environment. Let's hear from both coaching staffs about that hideout play, the deception play. First cut 4. Here's Hugh Freeze on Oklahoma's first touchdown.
Oh, the one where we tried to call timeout?
And they pretended to sub him off the field.
Yeah.
Did the officials say anything to you about that?
I guarantee you, well, I better be quiet. Said they didn't hear us trying to call timeout, and we'll see. We were instructed all off season about deception plays and things, so we'll see what's said. I really don't know what will be said about that.
Yeah, I had to pay the fine on that one.
I probably would have too. I think Auburn probably steps it up.
Yeah, I had to pay the
John
fine.
Cohen's like, you know what? We're going to take care of this for you, Coach.
Hugh shut it down. I think I paid the fine on that one.
I tell you, Jackson Arnold never wants to go back to Norman. For whatever reason, he can't. I mean, he's got nobody in front of him. Like that Oklahoma defensive line, and I know Brent Venables did a great job of assembling that. They are ferocious.
Okay, let's hear from the Oklahoma coaches on that play first, and then we'll get into the actual game that ended up Oklahoma beating Auburn on the scoreboard. But Bob Stoops apparently told the Oklahoma radio crew that, hey, they've been practicing this deceptive hideout play all week long, and so they were able to talk about that, which included, by the way, it was so well planned according to Bob Stoops that they had one Oklahoma player, the guy that's down on the 15-yard line here. They ended up having him talk smack to the two cornerbacks to keep them distracted while he sucked over to the sidelines. According to Stoops, that's the way they were practicing.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, so
very creative.
It's creative.
It's practiced this way. Bob Stoops told the Oklahoma radio folks, so Brent Venables and Ben Arbuckle get asked about Oklahoma's first touchdown. I haven't heard the Sooner sound yet, so I'm looking forward to hear what Venables and company have to say.
Brent Satania's touchdown in the first half. Where'd that play come from, and how difficult is that to walk the line with the rule, what it is this year?
Yeah, I mean, we didn't substitute. We were on the field. We asked the official we're lined up, we're on the ball, everything's good and legal. So we weren't in a big hurry or anything like that. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we ran the ball the play before. He just quick motioned over there, and it was a tempo call. He got lined up. He pointed to the official. He was never out of bounds or anything like that, and he just they didn't cover him. So it was good awareness by John to see him with nobody on him, and he just ran, and it was a great job by him.
Yeah. One said it wasn't a tempo play. The other one says it was a tempo play.
Let's cover all
It's
our
some
bases.
hokey ass shit, is what it is.
Yeah, that's a bush.
I mean, it really is. We paid you guys a combination of Ben Arbuckle and John Mateer over $3 million to come, and you got to steal one like that.
Okay, I want to ask you: do you feel like did your perception of Arbuckle change a little bit during the course of that game?
Yeah, well, let me say this. So Jaden Ott has yet to score a touchdown. Didn't get a touch in the Auburn game.
Forgot he was even in the game.
Yeah.
That guy, I thought that was such a big transfer in the offseason.
I did too.
We had, and I know he missed one game, but we hadn't even talked about that guy.
Yeah, look, Blaylock and Ott are going to have to start picking up the load because Mateer can't be your leading rusher, and he is right now through this point.
Every week.
I do think he's going to get better, and like Satania ended up being a weapon, and you've got Burks on the outside as well. So I think they're going to slowly – defense will carry them for a little bit. But, yeah, I did not like the hokiness of that call.
Yeah, me too. I felt the same way watching that. I was like and there's one screen image. I don't know if he's really shooting the bird at anybody, but, you can catch your fingers. And
that was pretty quick.
Weird situation.
It looked – I mean, it was a quick flash, but it looked like he did.
Yeah,
throw it up
I mean,
there.
I don't know. I started a bench clearing brawl and slow pitch softball one time, so it can happen. I understand it. Here's my takeaway is that I left that game, and tell me, and I can be wrong because I was wrong about a lot of things this weekend. I left that game feeling better about Auburn than I did going into that game, and I am high on Auburn. I thought they, in a bad environment, their defense played really good. They had a little bit more nastiness to them than I thought they would have. Jackson threw the ball. I mean, he missed a couple of open wide receivers.
Cam Coleman should have gone 250 with 3 touchdowns. Cam Coleman he beat his man every freaking time he looked up.
By 2 yards.
And early on, he's got 2 catches for, I think, combined yardage was 80-some-odd yards, 85, 86 yards, and then he only got one more catch the whole game.
Now, to Mateer's defense,
an interference there.
To Mateer's defense, or excuse me, to Jackson Arnold's defense, I mean, he was under duress the entire day.
He was.
But some of that's him holding it too long.
Yeah, let's talk about that, because you brought it up, the 10 sacks. And I asked Luganville this. Sometimes it's a good punt when you don't turn the ball over. Is there such a thing as a good sack? Like if nobody's open, instead of you turning the ball over, forcing it, you just eat the ball, and that can up the numbers. But 9 or 10 sacks, that's a big number, dude.
Yeah, look, I mean, Cam Coleman, you've got to figure this thing out because, I mean, he can be a difference maker. And I absolutely think he should have had a career day, still had a nice day, but you've got to figure that out. The offensive line, I don't think it's as bad as it looks Saturday. I just think Oklahoma's defensive front is that good.
I agree with that.
And I think that they are going to carry this team a long way. And when you start to look at the schedule now, like Oklahoma against Texas right now, I think Oklahoma, beats them by 7-10.
I don't know. Auburn was kind of what I thought they were in that game, Jim. I don't know that I left the game feeling any better about them.
Well, to me,
I don't necessarily feel worse about them, though.
Jackson threw the deep ball better than I thought he was going to throw it. I'm more concerned about the running game than I was. Obviously, the offensive line gave up 10 sacks, but I watched that, and I thought I was watching 2 really good defenses.
Cobb's got to get more touches, too.
Yeah. Because let me pull up the box score. What do they have, 13 carries between Cobb and Austin?
Yep.
And I know, listen.
For 86 yards.
Yeah. I know Jackson Arnold ran 20-some-odd times. 10 of those are sacks.
Right.
I haven't gone and broken down the all 22 to see how many were flushes that he ran or how many were quarterback run calls. But your backs only touched the ball 13 times. That does not feel like enough to me when you've got backs like Austin and Cobb. And that has been a consistent criticism of Hugh Freeze. You go back to last year, we talk about it all the time last year with Jarquez Hunter, that he's not touching the ball enough. It does feel like at times in these games, he gets away from the running backs for some reason.
That's right.
His play calling gets away from the running backs.
You want Jackson Arnold to run, obviously, if he needs to.
Right.
But you need a traditional run game, too, that helps Jackson Arnold's running, and it helps Cam Coleman and Eric Singleton, who I think Singleton's numbers are down year to year to what he was at Georgia Tech. But it was a good defense. So we'll see for Auburn. Texas A&M coming up. We'll break this down a little bit more later on in the show. We'll get to the NFL and then back to college football, and then Germie Bernard joins us at 10 o'clock to to start hour 2. Joel Klatt joins us to start hour 3 at 11 o'clock. Our show being brought to you by a couple of our great sponsors. One of them, our friends at Odie's. Tell us about Odie's, LT.
Great place for lunch or dinner. Rodney Davis doing that food for almost 4 decades now. The award-winning wings, delicious burgers, great sandwiches, ice-cold beer buckets full of the Bud Light every Wednesday. Me and Brown will be at the original location in Crestline. There's also a newer location in Edgewood. Great food, ice-cold beer buckets full of the Bud Light at both. Get in, see Will Haver and that great staff. Birmingham Institution, Odie's Tavern.
Oh, we are almost there. NASCAR coming to the Talladega Super Speedway. You can feel it in the air as they are racing towards that end of the season championship there, and they are bringing it to NASCAR, and you can be part of it at the Talladega Super Speedway. It is the Yellowwood 500, and you can get tickets to the Yellowwood 500 by going to TalladagaSuperspeedway.com, TalladagaSuperspeedway.com, or calling 877-GO-2-DEGA, 877-GO, the number 2-DEGA. And always follow them on social media at Talladega for all the information there. Coming up Friday, October 17, Saturday, October 18, and Sunday, October 19. It is the Yellowwood 500 at Talladega Superspeedway, TalladagaSuperspeedway.com.
And those dates for 2026 out already, too, as you see on your screen there. So go ahead and get your tickets for 2026, the April-October race, TalladagaSuperspeedway.com for more information. Plan your year next year at Talladega. All right. To the NFL, and you touched on it already. I knew it'd be hard to wait till we got to the NFL. I'm on the golf course. I don't even know what's happening, and I'm getting Greg from Pell City texting me, hey, do y'all need me to come in and sit in for LT tomorrow?
Did you not watch your boys yesterday?
I did. I watched them. I watched the first half, and then I was on the golf course and had them out there and watched us become.
Those uniforms were incredible. I had a feeling they were going to run with a creamsicle this week.
It was the first win ever in the 1976 uniforms.
Oh, yeah, that's right, because y'all didn't win a game of that. Those are good-looking uniforms.
0-14 in those uniforms. And
did one for the 76 boys right there.
And beat the New York Jets, who had Joe Namath in 1976, beat us, I think, 34-0 at Shea Stadium in those uniforms.
Okay, so we saw the block kick after, and Greg was nice enough to reach out and tell me how sorry he was. Now, he reached out.
He did
early.
A welfare check?
Yeah, he did. A couple people did. He reached out early on because, and I don't know if you were watching or, Brown, you were watching, but the first 2 times they ran the tush push, they were illegal motion again.
Yeah.
I mean, they fired off. They didn't call it.
I don't know what they're doing there.
Yeah, did not call it.
Yeah.
And you know, and I tweeted this out, and I'm being serious. Outside of the first drive where Stafford throws an interception, they came down, they converted 2 third downs on that play, and then ultimately a 4th down. Outside of that, it was the best 30 minutes of a Sean McVay defense I've ever seen. They were that dominant on the road. And
for those that missed it, y'all led 26-7.
Yeah, so it was 19-7 at half. They come out, they get possession, they deferred in the first half. Second play of the possession, Jared Verse, like half the quarterbacks in the league probably don't get up. Just an unbelievable hit. Jars the ball loose. Rams get on it. They score 7, so 13 and change in the second half. They're up 26-19. And I'm going to give you the stat. Teams that have led by 19 in the NFL over the last 2 years, what do you guys think that record is?
The last 2 years?
Yeah, and I'll give you the amount of games. It's
I'm going to say it's something, and well, you got to factor in the Bills coming back and beating people every now and then. I'm going to say it's something in 4.
It's 195 games.
195. So you're going to go 191-4.
191-4.
193-2.
Wow.
Yeah.
You don't
so the Bills and now there's 2 of them this year.
You don't blow these kind of games. But my question to you guys, like Joshua Carty has been a steal out of Stanford. He was great his rookie year. He is as solid as they come. Already kicked 4 field goals. That was a problem. Had to settle for the field goals. But how do you get not 1 but 2 kicks? And look, and we had an offensive line shuffle because we had a couple of guys go down. But how 2 kicks get blocked under 44 yards in the same quarter?
But let me ask you this. Did the NFL change rules or something about blocking? Because right at the same time, Cleveland blocked a Green Bay kick, which gave Cleveland the win.
Set them up for a 55-yarder
that's right. And just
to win the game.
And just after, the Jets blocked a Bucs kick. I mean, it was like you'd already had 1 blocked.
We controlled the game, and then we fall behind off of a block and a scoop and score, too.
Yeah, the Jets was a scoop and score, and
just
so
like
was the Eagles.
Just like the Eagles. So that put us behind.
I know. And by the way, that covered the game for
Yeah,
you.
so I got a text yesterday morning. They said, you're not playing the Rams plus 3.5. And I was like, it's just become too big of a trendy pick, and the Rams are owned by the Eagles. This is, and I know a lot of stuff here, but talking to our buddy Ken West yesterday at Walk-Ons late afternoon, he's a big Georgia guy. And I was like, Alabama's going to beat you guys again. There are certain teams that just can't match up, and mentally, like the Rams have lost 10 of 11 to the Eagles. They just can't close the deal against the Eagles.
I just wonder, because you almost never see field goals blocked in the NFL. And I'm talking, man, I was sitting there watching on Red Zone, and it was boom, boom, boom. Your second block, the Cleveland block that set up their game winner on Green Bay, and then the Jets block and return against Dunaway in the box. And I'm like, man, you never see kicks blocked in the NFL. And those weren't like first quarter blocks. Those were massive game-deciding blocks.
And back to the cover, though, the Rams catching 3.5. If you had the Rams plus 3.5, and I'm not exaggerating, and I've been doing this a long time, and back to the days I was booking in the early 90s, I don't know if I've ever seen them beat that bad. When you're up 19 and your defense is completely dominant, and so at that point in the second half of a game, you're catching 22.5 points with the better team. And all Jordan Davis had to do was fall on that ball. Like, that is the wrong play. I know he scored, but if that thing gets George Teagued and flipped around the other way, it's the worst play in football history. But for him to score and you not get the cover there, that was amazing.
So you obviously didn't have the other half of my little parlay. You didn't have Auburn and
because
the points.
I did. That was a bad beat,
that
too.
meaningless safety was a pretty bad beat.
That was a bad beat.
I'm sitting there watching it with Jack, and I was like, I'm telling you what's going to happen here. He is going to get sacked, and they're going to lose the game by 7.
Yeah.
Because I've got Auburn plus 6.5.
Well, they'd already had 9 sacks at that point.
I thought he was going to get holding in the end zone for
I know you guys didn't see this, but I have Miami of Ohio plus 2.5. So 3-0 UNLV, 0-2 Miami of Ohio. It's on ESPNU.
Yeah. Miami of Ohio led 3 different times by 14 points.
They get outscored 17-0 in the fourth. They're going in to set up the winning field goal. It's tied. And dude, on a first down 15-yard rumble, fumbles it on the UNLV 15. UNLV drives down and walks it off and covers by a half. I can't explain. Ended up 9-8 overall this weekend.
Yeah, but
I lost 3 half points. Miami of Ohio, Auburn, and then yesterday with the Denver Broncos, how Denver melted down too and lost by a half.
Yes.
I had a buddy who jumped on mybookie.ag, promo code next round, and I was like, he gave me Saturday morning. He goes, give me your 14 parlay. And so I gave him a winner of our 14 parlay. I sent it out as a promotional before the game, and hopefully you guys jumped on it, not the 8 or 9 I gave you on Friday. Hopefully you played the 14 parlay. And then he was like, man, that's good. That's good. Do you have another one? And so I gave him a 5-teamer with the Auburn cover. And we hit all 4 of them except for the Auburn one. And he's like, God, I could not do this for a living. I said, I don't think anybody could do it for a living.
That's right.
Well, no, he couldn't if he's betting 4 and 5-team parlays.
Not for long.
He was like, I'm riding the roller coaster here. Blood, sweat, and tears. So there you go. There are just a handful of 3-0 teams left. Chargers are 3-0. Najee Harris, Achilles injury done for the year.
To watch, man.
Yeah, that's bad. Colts are 3-0. Now, it's been against Miami, Denver, and Tennessee, but they're 3-0.
Well, now they come to SoFi to take on the Rams this weekend.
And the Bills are 3-0. Those are the AFC. And the NFC, it is San Francisco 3-0. Mac Jones 2-0 as a starter, former Alabama guy. And Philadelphia and Tampa Bay. Eagles should have lost yesterday. Tampa Bay probably should have lost all 3 of theirs. They've scored in the final minute, 30 seconds to get the win in all 3. They're both 3-0. And by the way, it's Philadelphia and Tampa Bay and Tampa this week. So one of those will go down.
Yeah, and Philadelphia right now a 3-point favorite at mybookie.ag. So, here's another reason people are like, regular season doesn't matter. And you lose 7 games in the NFL and you can still win a Super Bowl. Home field is so important, especially in the NFC, because going into yesterday, it looked like, if you're just guessing, you could throw Tampa in that mix, which would be fine if you had to play in Tampa. But Green Bay, Philadelphia, Los Angeles look like the realistic teams that could host. Yeah. And for L.A. to lose in the fashion they did and possibly having to go back there in conditions they had to play in last year, it's just a big deal when you blow a lead like that. It really is.
100%. All right. When we come back, we jump back into the college game. Indiana, everyone was saying Coach Sig's team better than last year's Indiana team. It went to the playoffs. They looked the part. We'll talk about that and everything else that went on in college football and get to Germie Bernard, the Alabama receiver, before Alabama and Georgia coming up. The show being brought to you by our friends at A+. Brownie, tell us about A+, how they changed your life.
That is our guy, Brad Bell. And Brad Bell is the guy that when it came time to redo the master bath in the Brown house, he scoured the internet. My wife scoured the internet, and she found Brad Bell. Brad came and took a look at our job, and he did a couple things. Number one, he said, hey, listen, I encourage you, go out and check out these one-day bathroom remodels that you see. Price it versus mine and see what you find out. And he said, by the way, sometimes they just throw a new shower over an existing shower without cleaning anything. That's disgusting. We gave him our vision. He did our vision to the T. Man, it was great work. Brad can do it for you too. AlabamaBathRemodels.com. AlabamaBathRemodels.com. What Brad specializes in is master bath, kitchen, and master bedroom closets. That's his specialty at AlabamaBathRemodels.com. 205-422-1758. That is 205-422-1758. The reason I'll point out what he specializes in is because you are going to get your money back some when you go to sell your house on those, and you're going to enjoy those rooms while you have your house. AlabamaBathRemodels.com, 205-422-1758.
If you had Auburn or the Rams this weekend, you were screaming at the TV, throwing things, the wife or girlfriend's upset with you, they don't understand the emotion that goes into that 3-hour grind, here's what you can do for them. Give them the gift of relaxation. Go to them, tell them, hey, look, I love you. Here's a gift card from our friends at the Woodhouse Day Spa. They're going to absolutely love it. Choose from a menu of over 70 options, including the massages, body treatment, skincare, waxing, nail services. Woodhouse Day Spa, voted America's best day spa since 2009. You can stop into the Summit Shopping Center's beautiful location. Go see Stuart and the great staff. Tell them the next round sent you, or just buy 24/7 online, birmingham.woodhousespas.com.
Follow LT on Twitter at @TheLanceTaylor.
Have you been injured in an 18-wheeler accident, company truck accident, a car accident, or work-related accident? Call Alabama's largest personal injury firm. Alexander Chenard Trial Attorneys will fight for every dollar you deserve, and it won't cost you a dime. Trust me. What do you say, man?
Call me, Alabama.
Call 659-777-7777 or go to Chenard.com.
No representation made that the legal services provided are better than legal services provided by other attorneys.
What a matchup we've got, folks. Just nonstop action. The energy is electric and the fans are all in. An intense game like this calls for a Coca-Cola. Ah, crisp and refreshing. That's a game changer. Yeah, that taste scores every time. And just like that, they're back at it. Passionate fans and an ice-cold Coca-Cola. Now that's a winning combo. No matter the team, no matter the sport, everyone knows fan work is thirsty work. Enjoy a Coca-Cola.
This is what being a NASCAR fan is all about. Singular history and tradition.
Thank you, everybody, for coming out.
And triple-header playoffs action to ratchet up the stakes. Throw in a can't-miss concert, and you've got more than a race. You've got Talladega. NASCAR Playoffs Weekend at Talladega, October 17th through the 19th. Get your tickets now at TalladegaSuperspeedway.com. Ticketmaster, the official ticketing partner of NASCAR.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Never miss anything from the next round when you listen on demand through the podcast platform of your choice. Apple, Spotify, iHeart, or Google Podcasts. Wherever you listen, always like, follow, subscribe, and turn on automatic downloads so you catch every part of the next round. Listen anywhere in the world at any time on the Next Round podcast feed and support the show by following, subscribing, and turning on automatic downloads on any podcast platform. Thanks for always making the next round a big part of your day.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemphill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemphill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemphill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, Trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between two warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
Rolling along, our friends at Central State Bank brings you your cash out moment of the day. I'm sorry to do this to you.
Oh, boy.
Tyler, give me cut 17 first, and then we'll go to 11 and 7. This is from the fine folks at Old Row on social media.
Uh-huh.
Back-to-back weekends. You want bad beats? No badder beats than Arkansas.
Oh, gosh.
Play it, Tyler. Old Row, Arkansas. A couple of fumbles in the last minute of the last 2 weeks.
It is tough to be an Arkansas fan right now.
Yeah. We owe that country a lot of money too, don't we?
Arkansas was on their way to beating Ole Miss. Last-second fumble, easy field goal coming up. I mean, as easy as field goal could be to beat Memphis on the road. Late second fumble, good punch out there, and Memphis survives to beat Arkansas.
That was absolutely shocking. It
really was, especially because they were up 28-10 at one point.
And then
right?
you bring in backup quarterback because helmet pops off, and you've got that third down where you're going to get them off the field, and at least you've got a shot. And that was just effort. That was pretty amazing. That was embarrassing.
Carried a 300-pound guy on his back.
Those are the small little things when you look at Sam Pittman and you reevaluate the situation. And again, I think Sam Pittman's a good fit, but he's always on the wrong side of these terrible losses like this.
Needs to win over Notre Dame this weekend at home, 11 o'clock. We'll see if he gets that
What
one.
is that official number right now?
I think number 5. Is that right, Jim?
Dude, I've seen anywhere from 6 to 12.
Yeah.
Well, that's a big spread.
Oh, yeah, there's no way it's that big. But I did see a couple of rogue places had it at 12 and a half.
I thought I saw it open at 4 or 5 because, I mean, you can say what you want.
That's what it should be. And look, I don't know how either one stops the other team. I am shocked, and I think you see this with more and more. You see it with Duke and Manny Diaz and head coaches that are defensive coaches. Their defense is starting to falter a little bit. You can't say that about Venables right now, but Marcus Freeman's defense isn't close to the defense I saw last year.
Central State Bank is the bank that is big enough to serve you, but still small enough to know you, and they are on your team, a part of your community. Relationships matter at Central State Bank. They're not just opening accounts, they are building relationships. And they're family-owned, community-focused, built on trust. They've been that for more than 100 years, where they have served Central Alabama, Shelby County, Tallapoosa County with decisions and personal service. Rooted in community, driven by relationships. Central State Bank, member FDIC, Notre Dame, 6-point favorite.
6-point favorite. And our friends at the Pants Store, they help you out, guys and ladies. We'll start with the ladies today. Your game day headquarters for all the white sneakers, the platforms, the fall boots, the rompers, the perfect dresses. The Pants Store has you covered there. Free alterations and free gift wrapping, and they'll ship anywhere in the world. And for the guys out there, you want that new polo, the new hat, the quarter zips. Famous name brands like Horn Legend, Cutter and Buck, Antigua and Gentile. Nothing says War Eagle and Roll Tide like the Pants Store. All right there, all your game day needs. Huntsville, Tuscaloosa, Auburn, Birmingham, and online at pantsstore.com, pantsstore.com. Miami up to number 2 in the AP poll, behind number 1 Ohio State, ahead of Penn State, LSU, Georgia in your top 5. Oregon at number 6 in the new poll there. Miami looks the part. The defense flying around the field as they beat Florida 26-7, 8 3-and-outs. 7 tackles for a loss, and legitimately Miami looked like old school Miami in this football game, in my opinion.
I mean, Florida 0-13 on third downs. Now, I will say this, Florida's offense is awful. Miami's defense is really, really good, and, they continue to talk about that. They bring in the defense coordinator from Minnesota, and Herb Street continued, and Fowler talked about violence. That's what he preaches on defense. and boy, they get after it. But that is probably, I think that's the most improved unit in all of college football.
Miami's defense, it was so bad they fired their defensive coordinator last year.
Yeah, but now it's dominant.
Yeah.
But, Florida, and I know we're about to hear from Napier, but their offense, I cannot believe how bad their offense is.
It has gotten difficult to watch. 57 pass yards. As Lance said, they didn't convert a single third down. Yet, it was still like 13-7 in the third quarter. I thought you felt like Florida had gotten back in the game.
Yeah, I don't know how you guys felt when Lagway went around the edge there and made it 13-7. I was like, I don't know how this is going to happen, but Florida's going to win this game.
I know. Yeah. I'm like, there is no reason Florida should even be in this game right now. Yet here it is 13-7. I was just I was blown away at how bad Florida's offense could be most of that game, though.
Yeah, 11 points is what they're averaging right now. Let's hear from Billy Napier, the Florida coach, and how he feels after another loss. As Forrester says, this is painful to listen to.
No.
Billy, just in terms of just where you're at, like these rivalry games are big deals to the fans, and you guys have struggled in them.
Yeah, they're a big deal to us too.
Well, I understand, but just in terms of like where you're at, like going, your team's 1-3, you had high hopes for it. Just how are you kind of processing the start of this season?
Yeah, we got work to do. I think we've got an obligation to do that not only for our fans and our alumni, but for the players in that locker room. So, we care about it a lot too.
Yeah, I mean, again, we play Napier every single Monday, rightfully so. They play in these big games. And every time I hear one of his press conferences, I think if I'm a Florida fan, I'm tired of hearing, we've got work to do. We've got to make the main thing the main thing. We got to keep fighting. We owe it to these guys. You just keep saying these same coaching cliches over and over again, Lance, and nothing really changes. They keep running the same bad product out there on offense.
This is going to sound crazy, but after this weekend, I think both Indiana and Texas Tech can make deep runs in the college football playoff. And my point there is, if I'm a Florida fan, if I'm in that locker room, I'm like, this is Florida. How in the hell have we not beaten a top 5 team since 2020? Like, how is the program falling this far? And Indiana and Texas Tech seem like legitimate top 10 teams.
Yeah, and I had not really followed this closely enough, but if you guys would go back to Andy Staples' last visit with us, which I think was 2 weeks ago, I think it was coming off the South Florida loss, when Andy said, Billy might have been in job loss territory last year. Then they get the win over, was it Ole Miss and LSU, or those are the 2 wins they got? And he went from maybe losing his job to, okay, you're going to keep your job, but you got to give up play calling too. All right, maybe keep calling plays. And that's what you get. That's what you get when you overreact to a win against Ole Miss at home and let him keep calling plays. That offense is terrible. He can't call a good offense right now.
Yeah, and DJ, of course, shell-shocked after all the sacks at LSU. Did not really they didn't put the ball in his hand. He only passed for 61 yards in that contest. And then there's Clemson, the other coach that is on the hot seat. Different legacy at Clemson than Billy Napier has at Florida. But they lose to Syracuse. Their offense was horrible again. And as Blake Toppermeyer at USA Today writes, this was the headline, Sweeney rant becomes pathetic appetizer to Syracuse stomping Clemson. That's the headline. In there, shamelessly playing the victim card to Dabo Sweeney. The buyout is $60 million, but you could see with, a whole quarter to play, the stadium was emptying out in Syracuse win over Clemson and Dabo Sweeney.
Look, I don't know what. I think most people are probably on my side of the rant after the rant. But if you have a rant like that and then you go in as a 17.5-point favorite at home, but I don't think so.
Yeah, 100%.
You've got
100%.
to be able to follow this thing up. And then Steve Angeli, who's had a really, really good year for Fran Brown, he goes down and Collins comes in for a good majority of the game, and you still can't flip this thing back.
That's how you finished against the backup quarterback.
And then statistically, and this is sometimes where statistics lie, Cade Klubnik had his best game of the season.
37 of 60, though, Lance. 60 passes. That's a lot.
But
363, still, 3 touchdowns and a pick. You're right. That's his best
if you would have
game.
seen that box score, you would have been like, okay, Clemson probably not only wins but covers.
Yeah, I would have wondered why they were throwing 60 passes in a win. But I'm with you. I think they probably win the game.
This is, after Dabo's rant last week, we went through and dissected the schedule, and I was like, man, I don't see better than 8-4. Where are they now? Could they be 6-6?
They could be this year's Florida State, is what people are saying. If you've lost the locker room, they're 1-3 right now. It's the 9th loss to an unranked team since 2021 for Dabo Swinney. The 9th loss to an unranked team since 2021. And they had the number 1 returning production roster of players back as far as production from the year before in college football. So all the talk about the portal and all this, the roster is good.
Oh, it's baffling.
Yeah, there are 4 guys that are, if you still consider Klubnik, which I never did, but if you still consider Klubnik an NFL draftable quarterback, there are 4 guys that are supposed to go in the first 2 rounds of the NFL draft, 3 of those on defense that are supposed to be first-round draft picks. And that's the production you're getting right now. Here's Dabo Swinney. This also painful to listen to.
Just, I mean, disappointed, painful. I mean, hurt. I mean, I'm human. I mean, I'm not a cyborg. I mean, this is my life, man. I mean, I've been here 23 years. I love this place. I give this place the very best I got every single day. Every day. There's never been a day that I haven't given Clemson every ounce of everything I have. I hurt. I mean, I'm invested my life here. And when I don't get the job done, I'm responsible. And I feel the pain. You know, it's not just my pain. I feel everybody's pain. And, you know, but that comes with my job. And I don't run from that at all. I mean, I've been in these situations many times. I've had a lot of great days, and this is a very, very low day. But I also know that we'll get through it. And there'll be a lot more great days, you know. Nobody wants to hear that in this moment, but that's what drives me is you know, being able to look back at different moments in my life and my career, certainly, and, you know, you got through it. You got better. You know, there's a lot of great days. So I just hurt. I mean, I hurt. I mean, I hurt, obviously, just because I take pride in what I do. But I hurt for our team, I hurt for our fans. And I certainly feel that.
1-3, 0-2 in the ACC. I just want to say this. What doesn't help Dabo is before this loss, on game day earlier in the day, Nick Saban, and they're good friends, said this quote, "The game has changed, and you need to change with it," end quote, when they were talking about Dabo Swinney. That was from Nick Saban before that loss.
Yep. Nick Saban did. Like, he practiced what he preached.
That's right.
I mean, he was a guy that evolved along with the way college football was going. The thing that is really obnoxious about this is how Dabo makes it about himself all the time. It's me, I. It is not the bigger about the program. And I mean, it's always about Dabo, and that has got to be so frustrating if you're a Clemson fan.
I see what you're saying there. You're not wrong. And you know, we were talking about this last year. I thought that, you know, the next 3 or 4 years would be a referendum. Dabo basically said, I'm going to do it differently than everybody else. A lot of people are going to get heavy into the portal and heavy into NIL. This is a guy that famously said the day players start getting paid, I'm going to retire. He backed off on that. But he's obviously got a stance against the whole NIL thing and the transfer portal. And that is going to be a difficult way to win football games. And last year we got baited into forgetting about that because they got a very fortunate berth in the ACC championship game and won their way into the playoffs. They're like, okay, well, you made the playoffs. But if this continues, you've chosen to do it a way that makes it more difficult to win. And it is now apparently starting to catch up.
I don't think there's any chance, nor should he be. And you guys know I'm not a Dabo fan, but he should have a lifetime pass there. He has done an amazing job. He is a top 25, 30 coach of all time. But when you start to look at this schedule, there are 2 games you can't lose, North Carolina and Furman. But outside of that, there's 6 more losable games. So back to your point, I don't think the bottom's going to fall and they're 2-10 or 3-9. A la Florida State last year at 2-10.
6-6 is definitely on the table.
Definitely on the table. I mean, I don't see them going to Louisville or South Carolina or beating Florida State. That's 6-6 if you just lose those games.
And the reason you bring up Florida State is because they had a good roster on paper last year. and there was some checkout in that locker room. You just wonder what these future NFL first-round draft picks are going to do as you progress down through the rest of that schedule.
But outside of pride,
what the coaches start doing if they start thinking about maybe I need to go somewhere else.
I know you're playing for the jersey, you're playing for your teammates, you're playing for pride, but at 1-3, their season is over. Like they went
Clemson
into
standards.
they went into the season thinking, okay, we're going to win the ACC again, and we're going to win a national championship. And now at 1-3, and we still got a full week of September.
Oh, I know.
0-2 in the ACC. They are one of the teams that your total, if you'd bet Clemson over or under the total win in Vegas, you're a winner. Or a loser, depending on which side you play.
So you don't have to watch any more games.
If you play the under, it's a winner. Mississippi State's the other.
I remember us talking about
that?
this.
So they've already hit the over, haven't they?
They've already hit the over.
Yeah.
I remember us talking about this with Clemson in the offseason. I said, look, you could lose to LSU. You might lose to South Carolina, but I can't find 3 losses on this schedule.
Yeah.
I said that. You cannot find 3 losses, and you've already got 3 losses.
The ACC is looking better.
I agree.
With Miami and Florida State and Georgia Tech. And,
Well, I think Virginia is a tough out.
But Clemson was supposed to be good too. Clemson was supposed to be, a playoff team, and they're not.
Oh, I would think Clemson and SMU are probably your most disappointing teams in the ACC.
Lifetime pass. I agree with you. But the conversation has turned to other coaches who got a lifetime pass. Bobby Bowden, Joe Paterno. Dabo's only 55. He's not at that age. But
that's what's scary, though.
Bob Stoops checked out. He left before his legacy went a different direction. Nick Saban.
He had a lifetime pass.
He had a lifetime pass.
Decided Alpine. But now that was the difference between 55 and 72.
That's right.
But still at 72, he lost on a final play to a team that won the national championship a game away.
Nobody wanted him to leave.
The scary thing is the guys that you mentioned were all in their 70s. And I remember, Joe Paterno in a daze watching from a coach's box.
Yeah.
This should not be happening to an energetic 55-year-old.
Yeah. But it is a competitive world out there. And right now, Clemson is not getting it done by Clemson standard. Another guy, Mike Gundy, loses to Tulsa on Friday night. All-time win leader by over 100 wins at Oklahoma State. But they want him gone.
He's going to have to resign. Because I think internally, at least the reports they want him gone.
His buyout's only $25 million.
And you want this thing, if you're Mike Gundy, and he seems like a guy that holds a grudge. You guys will give me that, right?
I assume he'd want every penny.
Yes.
Former quarterback there, for him to put Oklahoma State in some of the situations they've been in, I thought they would bounce back at least a little bit this year. You hope that this thing is amicable and he is able to, resign, because he should have a statue on that campus one day.
Yeah,
I think he's done that good of a job, but I just don't want him to get sideways where he's not welcome back. He doesn't want to go back. He's watching TV and he's pulling against his alma mater. That's not fun for anyone.
Yeah, I think he will. I think he will get a statue. All right. A couple of great sponsors that lead us into the viewing menu. One of them is our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. A great way to stay on top of your health, guys. You can do that right now with UCA. You call the number on your screen, 205-930-0920, urologycentersalabama.com. 16 locations in central Alabama, 35 urologists on standby, the best in the business, over 70 years of urological care. You get that with our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Prostate health, the kidney stones, go make that appointment today, urologycentersalabama.com. And our friends at MyBookie, Brownie.
MyBookie.ag, code next round, where you can play tonight's NFL game if you would like. If you want to look forward to the college football weekend that is before us. I mentioned earlier, Notre Dame a 6-point road favorite at Arkansas. You can go play that one right now if you would like to. LSU catching points at Ole Miss. Ole Miss a 2.5-point favorite. Auburn a 6.5-point road dog at Texas A&M. And then the big one, Saturday night over in Athens, the Alabama Crimson Tide a 3-point road dog at Georgia. All those games, all the NFL games available right now at MyBookie.ag. Code next round. When you sign up at MyBookie.ag, make sure you use code next round. That's going to get you that bet back bonus up to $500. You make your first bet, and they cover it up to $500. You lose, right back into your account at MyBookie.ag. Code next round. MyBookie.ag, code next round. Bet back guarantee up to $500. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with mybookie.ag.
Across this beautiful country, if you were in a high school stand, college, NFL venue, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you're straining, looking at the scoreboard, you really can't read it. You've thought about getting LASIK done before. Stop procrastinating. Now is the time to make the phone call that I made back in 2003. 205-969-8100. Ask for Amy Toe. The Next Round sent you. They are going to hook you up with a hassle-free consultation. You have zero to lose to find out if LASIK is right for you. 205-969-8100. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, best in the business. For more information, michelsonlaservision.com.
We've got a re-release of a movie that I never got to see on the big screen, and that's Jackass 3D. They've got late-night screenings that are very limited, so I might pop out later tonight to go see the Porta Potty Slingshot on the big screen for the first time.
3D, yes.
In 3D. Also on Hulu, we've got a new biopic starring Lily James that dramatizes the true story of Whitney Wolfe Herd, the co-founder of Tinder and founder of Bumble. It's called Swiped, and it follows her journey breaking into the male-dominated tech industry and creating Bumble after a lawsuit against Tinder.
Yeah, I like Lily James.
Yeah.
And then also on Hulu, we've got another docuseries called Into the Void, Life, Death, and Heavy Metal. It explores the epic struggles and cultural impacts made by heavy metal's most compelling artists. Their intensely personal stories about finding success offer an intoxicating combo of volume and distortion delivered via pulsating tales of murder, addiction, rebellion, and redemption. Some of the episodes that will be released are about the death of Ozzy Osbourne's guitarist Randy Rhoads, the murder of Dimebag Darrell from Pantera, and Judas Priest being on trial during the whole satanic panic during the 80s.
Yeah, the Randy Rhoads, I don't know if you guys remember that. I remember kind of when it happened. But they were in Iowa, and Ozzy was asleep on the bus, and Randy wanted to get in this plane, and they were trying to buzz the bus as close as they could get, and one of those wheels caught the bus, and lights out.
Yep. Not a great idea.
That's what Tyler's watching, brought to you by Michelson. When we come back, Alabama wide receiver Germie Bernard. Stay with us.
Follow Brownie on Twitter and Instagram at Ryan Brown Live.
Yo, kinfolk, what's good, man? Let me holler at you for a minute. You know how life can be life. You're out there chasing that dollar. Every dollar is accounted for going somewhere. Then all of a sudden, bam! Out of nowhere, a car accident. All I had to do was hit up my people at Alexander Shinara Trial Attorney. You already know when that dude Alex pulls up the trial, he shuts down the litigation situation. Yo, go to Shinara.com. Hit him up at 659-777-7777.
Call me, Alabama.
No representation that legal services provided are better than any other provider.
This is what being a NASCAR fan is all about. Singular history and tradition.
Thank you, everybody, for coming out.
And triple header playoffs action to ratchet up the stakes. Throw in a can't miss concert, and you've got more than a race. You've got Talladega. NASCAR Playoffs Weekend at Talladega, October 17th through the 19th. Get your tickets now at TalladegaSuperspeedway.com. Ticketmaster, the official ticketing partner of NASCAR.
To everyone who craves a fresh meal made just for you, let our team member Jacob share what's special about Culver's.
In Wisconsin, our food comes from the heart, and taking the time to handcraft your meal with care is how we've always done it at Culver's. It's why your Butterburger doesn't touch the grill until after you order.
Come to Culver's and let us serve you a Butterburger, made special just for you. From Wisconsin with love, welcome to Delicious.
At Central State Bank, we are large enough to serve you and small enough to know you. Manage your money with ease, whether it's mobile banking, hassle-free checking, competitive loans, business solutions, or personalized financial advice. We're your hometown bank with big-time service. Visit us today and experience banking made simple, because at Central State Bank, you come first.
Member FDIC.
Remember the name Way to Wellness if you're battling weight loss in your life. I'm Jim Dunaway from The Next Round. There was a time I was over 216 pounds until Way to Wellness helped me lose 45 pounds, and now for over 2 years, they've helped me keep that weight off. Here's their website, aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. That's a great name for a website because there's no cookie cutter plan. Everything is designed specifically for you. No contract, no sign-up fees, and your first consultation is free at Way to Wellness.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Get all your favorite Next Round gear all in one place, nextround.store. From our Next Round hats to the logo tees to the all-time best-selling Y'all Can Have the Rest shirt, you can look your best by shopping with us at nextround.store. Take the Next Round anywhere with nextround.store.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between 2 warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, The Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Dare I say, I hope this weekend in Athens stays to form. Different spelling. From Kevin Skarbinski, our friend. It's the 7th time under Kirby Smart that Georgia has been ranked higher than Alabama.
Yeah.
Georgia 0-6 in those games when Alabama comes in ranked lower than Georgia.
That's a trend and our angle,
Roll
really.
them tight. Go ahead.
Form Energy Drink and our friends at Innisfree bring you Germie Bernard, the Alabama wide receiver. We've all got our Form Energy up here. I'm going with the Orange Fury. Dunaway's got the Screaming Freedom.
I've got all of them.
Lance has got every single line they offer there right in front of you. Form Energy. You can see more at formenergy.com. Available at drink retailers near you, formenergy.com. Germ, what is up, my man? How are you today?
Good morning. Good morning. It's a good morning. Good start to the week, man. Got a good prayer in, and I've just been reading this morning, so it's definitely a good day.
I like that you pray before you come on with us. Probably a great idea. I will ask you on your bye week. You said you were going to watch some college football. Give us a taste. What did you watch? What jumped out at you about the weekend of college football?
Honestly, man, that didn't go as planned, but I was able to catch a couple games. Like, I was mostly on the lake all weekend. So I was chilling on the lake, and then I also I got pretty sick during the week, so I was trying to heal from that. But I watched the South Carolina game in Missouri. That was a really good one, and then I was able to catch the Miami and Florida game. That was a good one as well. So, I mean, from the couple games I did watch, man, it was some good football on this weekend. I can't lie.
Full disclosure, I missed the Pac-12 After Dark, and you played, out in Seattle, and you played at some of these venues. You'll be going to Athens for the first time in your career. How different, though, are the venues from the old Pac-12 days, going to Corvallis and, going to Pullman to these venues where you're playing in front of legitimately 100,000 fans every single Saturday?
I think I'm not going to say the people didn't care about football as much in the Pac-12, but like the fans are just more rowdier. Like they're into it. Like, they be trying to talk trash to you on the sidelines. Like just a whole bunch of crazy stuff. So, and it's my first time going and playing at Georgia, so I'm excited, man. They going all black. So I'm gonna pop out with an all white suit this weekend.
Yeah, is that confirmed? Is it all black for Georgia?
Yeah.
Okay.
Has anybody told you guys a story about, was it 2008, guys?
Yeah, the 2008 blackout.
The last time Georgia tried to pull a blackout against you guys. Has anybody gone back and revisited history for you guys?
No.
I'll let Dunaway set this up. Tell them what happened in 2008.
Well, first of all, practice video leaked out of the strength and conditioning coach saying they're wearing all black Because they're going to a funeral. That's why. And Alabama went in there and beat Georgia. It was one of those where Alabama was lower ranked than Georgia was.
And we've got a good friend that's a Georgia fan, and yesterday he's like, why are we doing this? I cannot believe we're doing this. Let's focus on football. But I think you guys probably dig being able to go into a venue and that many people spitting and hissing and dressed in all black. I mean, that's probably something you guys use to fuel you a little bit, right?
Yeah, road games are always fun. Coach Ballou, he always hits on, like, we have an opportunity to go in there and just clear the whole stadium out. Like, that's the best part of it. So we know we got a goal at hand, man. We know how good of a team they are, but we just focus on us, and we're gonna go in there and do what we got to do.
If you get Jam Miller back, and I'll leave that up to Coach DeBoer later today, but if you get Jam Miller back, we know what he is as a runner. What is he as a receiver, and having somebody that can catch the ball out of the backfield, how does that help you guys in the actual receiving room? Like, do you feel like Jam can be one of you guys catching the ball out of the backfield if he comes back?
100%. Like, Jam's very versatile. So it's going to be able to open up a lot of stuff in the pass game. Once we get our run game established, they're not going to be able to just play shell coverage on us, because we have so much depth in the receiver room and in the running back room. Like, Kevin Riley's another guy who can, come out the backfield and catch balls. So just for Jam to be back, and like you said, you already know what he could do in the run game, but for him to get open in the pass game and make explosive plays, that's going to be big for us.
Germie Bernard, the Alabama receiver, with us, courtesy of Form Energy Drink and Innisfree, formenergy.com, and tell them about the Innisfree Irish Pub real quick.
Yeah, the Innisfree Irish Pub, an Alabama tradition, Tuscaloosa's game day sports bar. Not only the great location in Tuscaloosa where you can get lunch or dinner, but also location right here in Lakeview. The Innisfree Irish Pub, over 5,000 square feet of Irish food, drink, music, and a whole lot of atmosphere just north of the Strip in downtown Tuscaloosa. Also Lakeview, it's the Innisfree Irish Pub.
All right. Alex Scarborough is a really good writer. He covers your team for the 24/7 website. He writes this today, and I just want your reaction to it, because there is nobody on this team outside of you and Austin Mack that know Kalen DeBoer better. I mean, I guess Parker Brailsford. You guys have been with this guy a long time. Headline says, DeBoer is coaching Alabama differently. The sub-headline, Kalen DeBoer is coaching like a different person. The calm, stoic demeanor has been cast aside for a more fiery approach. Have you seen a difference in a head coach you've played a lot of football for recently?
Oh, most definitely. He's more fired up. He just knows what's at stake. Coach DeBoer is a very, very nice guy, and a guy that doesn't really like to raise his voice and get loud and yell at people, but that had to change real quick. Like, he learned that, and he understood that, and he know that he has to have a different mentality coaching in the SEC and coaching guys here at Alabama. Like, we're one of the top teams in the country, for a very long time, and it's a standard. And, he has to do everything he's supposed to do to uphold that standard. So, if him changing his mentality and, firing guys up, yelling at guys, getting out of his comfort zone, if that's what it's going to take, then that's what it's going to take. And, a lot of guys are leaning into that, because, that's just what they've been used to, being under Saban, and, for Coach DeBoer to be able to, change his mentality and get after guys when it needs to be done, and just fire us up. It's been really good. It's definitely a surprise to me seeing him have a mentality change, but we all have to have a mentality change being in the SEC. So I think it's been really good for our team.
I know it was Louisiana Monroe and Wisconsin, but your quarterback, Ty Simpson, 41 of 46, over 600 yards, 7 touchdowns the last couple of weeks. I know they're completely different quarterbacks, but going back to your Washington day, watching Michael Penix in that 2023 season down the stretch, he was in a zone. Does this kind of remind you, again, different quarterbacks, but just mentally how locked in Ty Simpson is? Any similarities between what you guys experienced in 2023 with Penix and what you're experiencing right now in the moment with Ty Simpson?
I don't really compare. Like, you can't really like I don't like to compare people just because they're two different quarterbacks and they're both great in their own ways. But I do think Ty has really gained a lot of confidence. After week one, we had a talk and. He's just like, man, just continue to, believe in me. Like, what I'm saying? Don't give up on me yet, man. And I'm like, man, you tripping. Like, I know what you could do. I know what you can do. Like, just because the world has things to say, that don't matter to me. I have the utmost confidence in you and like how your game is. And I know how bad you want it. So, just to see him, flourish, man, it's really a blessing. It's really exciting for me to watch because he works so hard and he's very, very consistent and disciplined, with what he does and, how he goes about each day.
You guys had a win over Georgia last year, so you're familiar with the Kirby Smart, Glenn Schumann style of defense. When you put the tape in and you look at Georgia as you prepare for this game, just give me a quick little synopsis, if you will, of what the mindset or what the approach is from a Georgia defense under Kirby Smart. When you look at that, what do you see in a Kirby Smart defense? What does he like to do?
He likes to be aggressive. Honestly, they like to play a lot of man coverage on the outsides and give us opportunities to win on the outside. He likes to bring a lot of different blitzes and whatnot. So we have a really good plan, going into this game. But it's really all up to us and how we execute. If we just execute properly, we won't have any issues. But they have a really tough squad, man, and it's gonna be tough to play against them, especially at home. But like I said, it's all about us. We're just focusing on us.
Form Energy Drink and Innisfree Irish Pub are who brings you Germie Bernard with us each week. You can get Form Energy Drink at a local retailer near you. They've got the Screaming Freedom that Dunaway's drinking, Rocket Pop inspired. They've got that grape you see in front of Lance, the blue Blitz, the orange Fury. So you can get all those. Form Energy, available at energy drink retailers near you. You can see more at formenergy.com. That's PHORM, formenergy.com. If Georgia does indeed do the blackout, your head coach, you probably don't follow this, is 10-1 when he wears all black. Like, do you still encourage Kalen DeBoer to keep the all black on even though they're doing the blackout?
So that's funny because I want to say after the ULM game. I seen an Instagram post and it was like when Kalen DeBoer wears his black hoodie, like, what I'm saying, we win or whatever. And so I screenshotted him and I texted to him. I'm like, Coach, looks like you got to wear the hoodie from now on every game. And he was like, man, it's going to be 90 degrees on Saturday. Like, it's going to be hot. He was like, but whatever it takes, I got to do it. And he's been wearing it. So, I mean, hey, I don't expect him to switch it up.
Well, there you go. I think that was our Instagram post.
Yeah, it was. I think it was Brooks's Instagram post.
Brooks is our social media. I mean, he does a ton of great work for us. So there you go. And
thank you for the like and subscribe, Jeremy.
Yes,
we appreciate it, man. Thank you.
All right, Germie Bernard. Hey, good luck at Georgia. We will see you next Monday here on the show. Thank you very much for the time.
Yes, sir. Thank you, guys.
All right, buddy. Take care. Form Energy Drink brings you Germie Bernard as well as our friends at the Innisfree Irish Pub.
Hey, yeah, and if you're heading to Tuscaloosa anytime soon for a big game, stop in. And it's Tuscaloosa's Game Day Sports Bar. Alabama tradition, lunch or dinner, right there on that great patio, the Tuscaloosa location, also a location in Lakeview. Go see Derek, Nick, our good friends there at the Innisfree Irish Pub.
All right. Kalen DeBoer a little bit later on today. We're about to hear from Caden Proctor right after Brownie tells us about our friends at NASCAR again, getting ready for a race at Talladega, but also those 2026 dates.
Yeah, how about that? You go ahead and plan ahead. NASCAR's already told you when they're coming to the Talladega Superspeedway in 2026, but the Yellowwood 500 is the thing that is on deck next at the Talladega Superspeedway. You can go see it. TalladegaSuperspeedway.com, TalladegaSuperspeedway.com, or 877-GO-TO-DEGA. That's how you get tickets to the Yellowwood 500 weekend. 3 days of high-intensity playoff racing across 3 series, and it all culminates with that Yellowwood 500 on Sunday, October 19th. So make plans to be in attendance at Talladega Superspeedway Friday, October 17th through Sunday, October 19th. You could see more at TalladegaSuperspeedway.com. TalladegaSuperspeedway.com.
It happened to somebody over the weekend. You noticed, man, my hair is a little thinner than it used to be. Hey, look, it happens. We get older. Hair starts to fall out. A lot of things start to fall out. One thing you want to do, though, is maintain, be preemptive, and even grow some of this hair back. Our man, Dr. Beckenstein, best in the business for more than 20 years. Women and men have turned to Dr. B for a range of cosmetic and reconstructive procedures. Make the phone call that I made 4 years ago, 205-319-0316 or t3hair.net. I did that non-invasive treatment on the couch last night. I do it 3 times a week, 30 minutes each time. Hair has more than doubled in thickness. T3's got that new test, easy, painless, affordable, takes seconds to perform. It's going to show which medicines and compounds will specifically work for your hair loss. There are over 10 categories of agents they use, knowing they will work for you. Men, women, ordering Hims, other products online, don't even know if they work. Stop wasting your money and critical time on things that aren't working. Go see Dr. B and that great staff. Find out what will work. 205-319-0316 or t3hair.net.
You fans are smart. You've watched the games. You've seen Alabama juggling the right guard, left guard, the right tackle. There's been movement at those 3 positions throughout these 2 games since Florida State. Front 7 of Georgia is like Florida State. They'll do a lot of the same things Florida State tried to do to Alabama and had success doing to Alabama to impact Ty Simpson and that Alabama offense. So Caden Proctor talks about that rotating offensive line and what Alabama needs to do to get a dub at Georgia.
I don't think it's good to have a rotation throughout the whole season because you have to have that camaraderie between all 5 for them to be at one. But earlier in the season, I guess it's okay to have that rotation, and we've shown to win with those rotations going on. So I feel like it's not bad right now. But once we get into the tougher teams, we need those 5, and we need to stick with them.
Before we get to our 4 downs, early fill on Alabama and Georgia.
I like Alabama.
Did that number, did the point spread come a little lower than you thought? It opened at 3.
I thought it would be between 5 and 6. I think I said that a couple of weeks ago.
How much of that is off of what you saw, the lost secondary DBs in the Tennessee game? You think part of that is the impact of field?
I think it's I think a little bit of that, but I think more so it's familiarity between the teams. I think it is Alabama's current streak they've been on against Georgia. And
streaks are streaks for a reason, right?
And I do think that the and we can talk to Todd Furman more about this on Friday. I do think that the sports books are playing SEC games a little more in line with the NFL as far as like a lot of these teams are evenly matched. I don't know if you guys realize this. Alabama is taking on an undefeated top 5 Georgia team. The week after, they have got Missouri, who will be undefeated. And the week after, they've got Vanderbilt, who will be undefeated. And then after that, they've got a 1-loss Tennessee team that is one of the best teams.
Their only losses to the undefeated team Alabama's about to play.
Yeah, so I mean,
because Tennessee missed a field goal.
That's right. Yeah.
So I'm just saying, like the days of Alabama being like at Missouri, 17-point favorites, those days are gone. I think a lot of these games are going to be, 7, 8, 9, 10. So this number is a little bit lower because they're viewing these as equal teams, and it's more NFL-like now in the SEC.
I do think it is really hard to know what you've got through 3 games, especially this season. And there's we'll come back to this some point this week because there's one team where I think through 3 games we really don't know. We'll come back to that though.
Yeah. Penn State, but go ahead. Penn State, but go ahead.
Actually, LSU.
Yeah. Now, yeah.
Yeah, because
look at Clemson and Florida.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But
I'll give you Penn State with Villanova too.
No. Penn State's just played nobody.
Yeah.
I mean that's their deal. We'll find out about Penn State Saturday, but with LSU, we built a lot on a road win at Clemson and a home win at Florida, and Clemson's 1-3 and Florida's 1-3. So what do you even have there? But anyway, I think with Alabama fan, I've had more than one Alabama fan say this to me, is, boy, I was hoping Wisconsin was better than this. Because you're building a lot of hope on what you saw against Wisconsin. And then Wisconsin turned right around at home and got drubbed.
At home
by Maryland.
Oh.
By Maryland.
Most embarrassing play I've had this year.
Drubbed. You should have listened to the Brown Bandit. He was on Maryland.
Oh, but back to that number, I'm like, Wisconsin -2. This is silly. Like,
drubbed, Lance. Not even close. They're no good.
20-0 at the half.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, Fickle can't lose his job.
because of the buyout.
Yeah.
What is it?
It's $25 million.
It's a lot.
Wisconsin ain't paying $25 million.
But if you're an Alabama fan, and I've had more than one say this, like, God, I really wanted Wisconsin to be better than that because I think you had built a lot of hope into what you did against Wisconsin.
Yeah. Seventh straight Power 4 loss there by Wisconsin. Malik Washington looks like the real deal. Maryland's 4-0. They get the win. Fire Fickle, Chance, people gone before jump around. They did fire Paul Christ, 67-26, and paid him $11 million to hire Luke Fickle, who's now lost 7 straight Power 4 games. His buyout, $25.4 million, as LT says there. Let's do our 4 downs, being brought to you in part today by our friends at Inverness Country Club. LT, tell us about Inverness.
They have got memberships that fit everyone from the golf to the social, and big plus for a lot of people that we know that have got memberships there, child care. Look, you want a day of golf or tennis, you can drop the kid right there on site. You want to have dinner with your friends right there on site, you can drop your kid. Maybe you work from home. What about working from the club while they watch your kid? Whatever your interests are, you can find it at Inverness. Best days happen there. To take a tour of this unbelievable club, call our good friend Aaron, 205-991-8608. Or you can always go online, go to iccalabama.com.
If you have not checked out Alabama Power's new customer tools, you are missing out. They're free, they're easy to use, they are here to help and save you money and better manage your electrical service. They've got Rate Advisor, which is like a matchmaker, but for your rate plan. There's Bill Explainer, helping explain your bill in plain language, and Energy Assist. That's my favorite, connecting customers with savings programs and financial resources when you need it the most. Check out all 3 tools right now at alabamapower.com.
First down.
Let's go with who gets fired first, Billy Napier or Sam Pittman?
So we've passed the magical 4-game window. So now you can hit the portal, but if you've burned a year of eligibility. Well, no, we're about to pass it.
Yeah, you got to play one more game.
Got to play one more game, which might be the big thing here.
Who has the next embarrassing loss coming up? That's what I would ask you guys.
I still think, call me crazy, I still think Arkansas beats Notre Dame Saturday.
I do too.
But see, then you're going to have, but that's a 1-3 Notre Dame team we beat.
Yeah,
right?
but I mean,
that's still
Arkansas
a huge win for that program.
Arkansas could still be unbeaten right now. I mean, those are 2 late fumbles that I really can't put on Sam Pittman. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he is the head coach, but you're right. How do you put that on him?
I assume at some point they teach you how to hold the football during practice.
I still that was one of the more shocking outcomes, just how it ended.
Yeah, it was
with them going in.
Great defensive play there. Now they did let Memphis come back and score on a 65-yard run, so the defense isn't fixed, but I mean, Napier gets fired before Pittman does in my world.
But real quick, if Pittman doesn't beat Notre Dame, and look, they are a substantial home dog, then they got to go to Tennessee. I don't see them winning that game, so that would be 4 consecutive losses.
Yeah, I think Pittman finishes out the year. We'll see about Napier. I think Gundy steps down before either one of those guys do.
I wonder if Gundy and Pittman Gundy's done enough at Oak State. Pittman is liked as a person well enough at Arkansas if they allow them to announce their retirement.
That's right.
Like, I'm retiring at the end of the
year.
year.
Yeah, I think that's what they're going to try to work out 100% with Gundy.
Yeah, you can't do that with Napier, though. Right. I mean, that Napier, you either got to fire him or
Gundy could step away right now and have, much like Ralphie, indifference to running.
Okay, I am
indifferent to coaching.
I am not going to get my ass bit again on Florida. I know I probably will with a bye this week because I've been on them the last 3 weeks. Double-digit favorite to get South Florida, lose. At LSU, 5 turnovers, lose.
But
they've got Texas coming up, and that defense is going to – Arch is about to get beaten and battered over the next couple of weeks.
That's a low-scoring game with those two defenses.
He's got Florida and Oklahoma coming up. It's about to get real for Arch's ass.
And by the way, when he danced over that Sam Houston guy, that was the worst look that I've seen a Manning have ever, I think.
Yeah, you just – literally, you've been there before. Like this is Oklahoma. I can understand the excitement, but going into the Sam Houston, who's now 0-4, defense is atrocious. You should know that you're going to be making these plays.
I'm all for celebration. I am 100%. And you only play 12 games. You work year round. I'm all for celebration, dancing, and all that. But for you in that situation against that opponent, I did not think.
I think Texas sent it out on their social media too.
Yeah.
Texas football account,
and it was over the kid. I mean, if you turn around and you want to start dancing
That's
like those
fine.
Indiana players with your teammates, that's fine. I'm all for that. But I mean, it's Texas and Sam Houston, bro.
Yeah. So there it is for those that haven't seen it. If you're watching this on video,
not to bring it back to the Rams, Puka was held on that final possession. It should have been a chip shot. I don't know if you saw that.
I did.
Yeah. But even before that, Puka gets a first down to Philly's 40. And we ultimately turned it over on downs, but he did this away. I don't know if you saw it. So he gets up and spins the ball, not at anybody, and just flexes basically for the camera and goes first down. They gave him a 15-yarder.
Yeah, they've said they're cracking down on the NFL.
I get it if you're over somebody, but
I know.
you can't celebrate that little bit. That was home cooking 100%.
I think the rule actually says spinning the ball. I think it actually says
in the direction of a player.
In the direction of a player.
Yeah,
you can spin it in college now. Yeah. They had taken that away from college.
I was just saying in the NFL, I think the rule, the emphasis was on spinning the ball, but in direction of the player, I guess.
Second down.
Those are kind of hard to control where they go once you spin it if it goes towards the player.
What's more surprising right now, how bad Florida's offense is or how good Texas Tech's defense is?
Well, I mean, I shouldn't be surprised by this because they paid the money, but that's the world we live in. But Texas Tech, who's 4-0 for the first time since 2013, they paid $5 million for that defensive line, but they manhandled Utah. And I know it was 21 fourth-quarter points. It was a closer game, but Devin Dampier, I get it wrong each time. 2 interceptions, 4 turnovers on their field. That was all that Texas Tech defense. I think they got 8 portal guys. They've never won the Big 12, Texas Tech. They look to be more defense than they are offense, and that's a good thing.
And I thought Will Hampton coming in looked like the better quarterback. Like Baron Morton coming into the game, you're like, damn, if they win this game, like if you would have said, hey, they win at 34-10, I would have said Baron Morton's probably a guy they're talking about in Heisman conversation. He wasn't good. Like it was turnover after turnover back and forth, and then once you got into the fourth quarter and Hammond really settled in, he looked to be the better quarterback.
Yeah, and I will tell you, I always question Joey McGuire. I don't know why. I guess he's a high school guy to Texas Tech, and they're paying all this money. I always felt like they could do better. But he and that coaching staff had QB2 ready to come in and step in and play on the road in that environment to win the football game. They needed him to come in and win the football game, and he did that. That's coaching. And hats off to Texas Tech. So for me, it's Texas Tech.
Yeah, I think I'm probably more surprised by their defense. That was your question. How bad, how good their defense is, how bad Florida's offense.
Both are shocking because in the Big 12, we're used to a lot of points.
No, you're right.
And this Texas Tech, if they do win a championship, it's going to be based on defense. But that defense can play with any SEC offense I've seen.
Yeah, I would tell you that it's a credit to the late, great Mike Leach that when I think of Texas Tech, I think offense.
Only offense.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right. And then Cliff Kingsbury. Yeah. I mean, that's the way he coached too. So that's been their history.
But defense calling card, and that wins. That travels.
Third down.
I think both of these, I know it sounds crazy, are legitimate national championship contenders based on one's brand and one's schedule. But if I asked you guys more legit national championship contender, Oklahoma or Indiana?
It's got to be Oklahoma. I mean, Indiana, that was probably the most overall surprising outcome of the weekend. Not that they won.
Yeah.
But that they beat Illinois the way they did, I was just...
Hey, how did my guy play?
Stunned by Mendoza's pretty good.
No, he's really good. He's really good. I was totally wrong in that game. It was my upset alert. I knew that I was going to lose. I didn't think I was going to lose by this. By the way, in case you missed it, and I hate for repeating if you watch Monday Morning Live, but I'm going to repeat it because it's crazy. In the history of the AP poll, the biggest margin of victory by a non-top 10 team, even if you're ranked, over a top 10 team, in the history of the AP poll.
That was Saturday.
53 points. Yeah. Indiana beating Illinois. The largest margin of victory over a top 10 team by a non-top 10 team in the history of the AP poll. That's what we just saw in prime time by Indiana.
A long way to go. But do you guys remember a couple of months ago me saying the first overall pick in May's draft will be Fernando Mendoza on nobody's radar at all?
You did.
And now he is the second shortest odds to win the Heisman.
Yeah. 20 against Mateer, and Mendoza looked better than Mateer for me. 21 of 23. I could not tell you, blown away at how good Indiana looked because they looked nasty on defense too.
Well, that's the thing. So last year, I remember in week 3, it was September 14th. I'll never forget it. It was in the Rose Bowl, and I had Indiana laying backed in a ton of value. I think it was 5 or 6 against UCLA. And I remember coming on that Monday morning, and I didn't stock up Kirk Cignetti. I was like, this team is so disciplined. They don't commit penalties. They don't turn it over. And they are just so well coached. And then they go on and they buzzsaw everybody outside of who did they lose to last year in the regular? Ohio State.
And Columbus.
But they're a better team this year.
Yeah. They are better. And I said that. I agree with you. They're a better team. And this reminded me of last year. I thought Nebraska was going to go in and beat them. I remember exactly.
Yep. Yeah,
I think I picked Nebraska in an upset alert.
And they got popped.
And they got popped just like this.
Yep.
And Illinois, Bielema runs the football. That's what his calling card has been back to Wisconsin, to Arkansas. They couldn't get 2.6 yards per carry in that game all night long.
No, they averaged, they were 1 of 10 on third downs, and they averaged 0.1 yards per carry.
Yeah.
So now they go to Iowa, and this seems like a setup game, and Iowa always pulls off one of these crazy upsets in Iowa City. I just don't know Iowa offensively how they keep up with Indiana. But if Indiana can get past this game, and I'll go back to the question I asked you guys last week or 2 weeks ago, with now how they beat Illinois, his first ranked win, can they lose on the road at Oregon and at Penn State, go 10-2 and still get in?
Maybe.
Well, yeah, because the Big Ten will get 3, 4, or 5 teams.
Yeah.
Because they're the Big Ten, just like the SEC will get 3, 4, or 5 teams in. So yes, depending on what else happens in that league. But here comes USC. Michigan's not dead yet. We'll see about Washington this week against Ohio State.
They don't play any of those 3, though.
Oregon, Penn State.
They don't, but if those 3 have better than the 2 losses, that's
right.
your problem, right?
That's
or
right.
one of those 3.
Yeah, or the same, and they maybe have a win.
Yeah.
So it depends on how everyone else goes. But no, blown away with Indiana this weekend against Illinois.
4th down.
More surprising outcome yesterday. The Browns beating Green Bay 13-10, or Forrester's Packers losing 30-0 to
Falcons.
Bryce Young and Carolina.
Falcons, yeah.
You said Packers. Falcons.
Oh, yeah. Falcons.
Yeah.
I meant Packers losing to the Browns.
Right. That was
I'll claim the Packers after yesterday.
Really. That was the single most surprising outcome is how badly Carolina beat Atlanta. It's the NFL. If you tell me Cleveland beats Green Bay in Cleveland, I'm like, okay, they beat them.
You know what's crazy?
But to beat a team the way Carolina beat Atlanta, that's amazing.
Talking to 2 Falcons fans yesterday, not Forrester, but 2 others.
It's embarrassing.
This Michael Penix isn't going to work out. I'm like, damn, it's early in his career.
One game.
Yeah, I mean, to me,
he was bad.
The more surprise was the Browns because they had to block the kick.
I know.
And then they had to turn around and kick a 55-yarder.
Yeah. But overall, if I tell you it's the NFL, Green Bay goes to Cleveland and just loses the game, you're not blown away by that in the NFL. But if I told you that Atlanta was going to get beat by 30 in Carolina.
By the way, I think our magic number in Tampa is 7.
If y'all don't have that division, if y'all don't have that division by Halloween,
we should be 0-3. Really,
I know, but you're going to walk with that division.
3-0. But I understand what you're saying about Carolina. The blowout of Atlanta was pretty big. How about the Bengals, by the way?
Well, I mean, they're starting to back up.
Worst defeat in franchise history.
Yeah.
I was, I'm a contrarian, especially in the NFL, so there was a lot more money on Minnesota yesterday. But I'm just thinking to myself that before the game, Minnesota right now is in a better situation with Carson Wentz at quarterback than J.J. McCarthy. I know the future you're building for McCarthy, but if Kevin O'Connell and Minnesota, they want to be competitive this year and they want to go back to the postseason, Carson Wentz with Minnesota in this defense, they're going to be a problem. They're going to be a tough out.
I would agree.
I think they go on the road and they beat Pittsburgh this week.
If I was the Bengals, I'd be on the phone. I don't know how much I'd give up for Kirk Cousins to try to save this season. But, man, you got Jamar Chase and all those guys. I think I would try to pull the trigger, but now you're already in a hole.
Man, if I'm Jamar Chase, if I'm Malik Neighbors, I guess we can, hey, we thought Justin Jefferson for a minute with J.J. McCarthy, all these great LSU receivers that are handcuffed now with these quarterbacks.
Yeah, bad quarterbacks. That's 4 downs. Brought to you today by a couple of our great sponsors. One of them is Hemp Hill. They bring you Lance's Lock, lanceslock.com, where you can jump on and get some kind of play tonight on Lions-Ravens, 7:15 on ABC.
So the entirety of the football weekend, 9-8. Very frustrating, though. Weird weekend. We started 0-3 on Saturday, and then we win 7 of the last 8 to go 7-4. We go into NFL Week 3 with a 10-1 NFL record. We were 0-3 yesterday with a terrible loss with the Broncos. So we're 10-4. We do have total up tonight in the Lions-Ravens games. Jump on board. We'll have more winners in Major League Baseball. Again, frustrating, weird week. We still ended up winning. Lance'sLock.com. Free play every single day. Brought to you by our friends at Hemp Hill Services. Trust the name. Birmingham has trusted since 1954 for all of your plumbing, cooling, heating issues. Any of these arise in your home or business, they are ready to serve you. 205-229-2090 or hemphillservices.com.
We talk a lot about Culver's Great Burgers. You understand the butter burgers. We talk about their great size. Their fries are terrific. Those crinkle-cut fries that are always so crisp. And those great cheese curds that they have. But they have got a great dessert going right now. It is their mini cereal concrete mixer flight. These 3 great cereals in one of their concrete mixers with frozen custard, Cinnamon Toast Crunch, Lucky Charms, and Cocoa Puffs. 3 flavors, 1 flight. Endless nostalgia if you're our age. You can go enjoy these at your local Birmingham Culver's right there in Tattersall Park before they disappear. It is a limited time concrete mixer. So go in and enjoy those great burgers at Culver's and that concrete mixer flight at your local Culver's this week.
Everything Next Round is on demand now in the podcast section at nextroundlive.com.
Yo, kinfolk, what's good, man? Let me holler at you for a minute. You know how life can be life. You're out there chasing that dollar. Every dollar is accounted for going somewhere. Then all of a sudden, bam! Out of nowhere, a car accident. All I had to do was hit up my people at Alexander Shinara Trial Attorney. You already know when that dude Alex pulls up the trial, he shuts down the litigation situation. Yo, go to Shinara.com. Hit him up at 659-777-7777.
Call me, Alabama.
No representation that legal services provided are better than any other provider.
Sterling and the fine folks at Champy's Chicken on Highway 119 in Alabaster want to welcome you in for a great lunch or dinner starting at 11 a.m. every day. Chicken that's brined overnight and cooked to order, and the taste of the Delta with those Delta recipe tamales. Champy's is perfect for all your tailgating needs this football season. You can also choose Champy's for your next party, wedding, or birthday. Great food, great people. Champy's Chicken on Highway 119 in Alabaster, and everything online at champyschicken.com.
All right. It's a beautiful day for football here at the stadium, and we're just about ready for kickoff. Score 0-0. And suddenly, I'm in the mood for a Coke Zero Sugar. Real Coke taste, zero sugar. Now that's a winning combo. Yeah, crisp, refreshing. That hits the spot. When it comes to great taste, Coke Zero Sugar's always on the scoreboard. Coke Zero Sugar. Real Coke taste, zero sugar.
This is what being a NASCAR fan is all about. Singular history and tradition.
Thank you, everybody, for coming out.
And triple header playoffs action to ratchet up the stakes. Throw in a can't miss concert, and you've got more than a race. You've got Talladega. NASCAR Playoffs Weekend at Talladega, October 17th through the 19th. Get your tickets now at TalladegaSuperspeedway.com. Ticketmaster, the official ticketing partner of NASCAR.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service. Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive male issues in a comfortable environment. You can always go online, visit urologycentersalabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles, The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a Bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between 2 warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and Bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
Forrester and I, first of all, I apologize, Forrester. I think you started the text thread last night, late night, or maybe I did. I had a few cocktails on the golf course and continued those when I got home as I was doing show notes, and I could tell as the night went on, I can't read my writing, anything I wrote after 11 o'clock.
That was the third cocktail.
So I apologize for any things I sent you too late last night, Forrester, but we were going back and forth on who can make each other laugh on just tremendous weekend in college football when it came to social media. And I think I may have won.
You did.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, so it's brought
I'm calling it.
It's brought to you by our friends at Bojangles.
This is,
so there we go.
Is this the tender moment? Is it you making Scott laugh?
Well, we're going to run through a bunch of these.
All
This
right.
is our tender moment.
Tender
Go ahead.
moments
Yeah.
from Bojangles. It can be bow time for you this college football weekend and high school football weekend. Let them do your tailgates. Let Bojangles do your watch parties at your house. You can get those great chicken tenders and those great dipping sauces that go with it at your local Bojangles. Still a great idea for lunch as well. This college football and high school football weekend, make it bow time.
First of all, a real tender moment, though. Brent Pry fired at Virginia Tech. They're playing Wofford at home, but look at the crowd that shows up for the program. As Nick Brown writes here, what a fan base. A little bit of the students up top. Other than that, jam-packed for the early game against Wofford, everybody.
Wow.
And they're still there cheering on the Hokies, Hokie High.
Better than Wisconsin could say.
Yeah, I mean, way to go, Virginia Tech fans. A real class act. Which one made you laugh more, the Arkansas thing I sent you from Old Row already, or the UCF winning the social media? I think it's UCF.
It's UCF.
Check this out, LT. UCF, after they beat Bill Belichick in North Carolina, it's the night on the beach.
I love it. So good.
With the flying angel.
I love the meme that was
So
going around
good.
before the game this weekend with Central Florida where she was asking Dad for money.
Yeah, when she was out there, everybody was like, Dad, can I go play with my friends while the game's going on? Dad, can I get $20 for the concession stand?
By the way, that one is fantastic right there.
Isn't that really good? They had that one in the holster ready to go.
They may be victim of the two best of the season when TCU asked them when episode 1 dropped after that beat down, and then that one right there.
Yeah, good for UCF Knights. They're great on social media. Memphis had a little fun with the Arkansas folks. In Memphis, we like our hogs barbecued.
Oof.
Yeah, the late second win for them there. And then hats off to this Florida State fan. He comes back in costume. The picture on the left is him last year with a sign around his neck that said, "We are cooked," when they are 2-10, and him drinking water at a game. He comes back, same outfit, same signage. We are cooking at Florida State.
Okay.
I mean, hats off to that
He's
guy.
doing it, yeah.
Good for him to do that right there. That's some of our Bojangle moments of the weekend. Brought to you also in part by our friends at Company Distilling, LT.
Company Distilling, now in the state of Alabama. If you're looking for a great bourbon, I had some over the weekend. I picked up a bottle of the apple and the maple last week. But big news, Alabama. Company Distilling now available at ABC stores across the state. If you've been waiting to try whiskey that is good as the company you keep, this is your moment. Find your bottle. Learn more at companydistilling.com/Alabama. Must be 21 plus. Please enjoy responsibly. But not only Alabama, Colorado, Florida, Georgia, Missouri, Oklahoma, South Carolina, Tennessee, Texas. Have that rough day at work. Pick up a bottle of Company Distilling.
The College Football Spotlight.
Stock up, stock down. College football stock report.
It is the Shannara Spotlight. We do it for you every single day, and it is brought to you by our guy, Alexander Shannara, Trial Attorneys. When you find yourself in need of an attorney, Alexander Shannara, Trial Attorneys, the place to start. Shannara.com. Shannara.com. You never pay a dime unless they win your case, and they have recovered more than $2 billion, with a B, $2 billion for their clients right there at Shannara.com. And you can be part of that. If you find yourself in need of a trial attorney, they not only handle personal injury claims, but fire and storm damage, bad drug and device claims, and much, much more. Shannara.com. Shannara.com.
I want to make a stock up, stock down is what we're about to do. And I
Okay.
love that graphic. I want to just propose a live on the air change to our Wednesday spotlight, which is our sneaky good game.
Okay.
It dawned on me as I was watching Indiana beat Illinois, which was my upset alert, which is Tuesday, which is my favorite spotlight because we all get to draw the logo. And maybe 10 is too much here. Maybe it needs to be 7. But I would like to take what we do on the upset alert and do like not a wrong team favorite, but a team that is favored by a certain number and you think they're going to win by 10 more than they're favored by, like a blowout, like Indiana in this case. You know what I mean? Help me workshop that, LT. What am I trying to say where, we do one upset alert on Tuesday, on Wednesday.
Most surprising blowout of the weekend.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
instead of a sneaky good game, what is going to be the surprising blowout? If I would have come on and said, look, Indiana's going to walk them off the field, people would have been like, you're crazy.
Yeah.
So
forget the 6.5 points.
Yeah.
They're going to win it by 26.
Most surprising blowout.
Yeah. Okay. Does that interest you more than sneaky good games?
I mean, I'm good with either. That's fine with me.
I think a blowout's kind of hard to call. But, I mean, we could try it. We can take it. I mean, I don't know. I'm with you. I would never have said Indiana blows out Illinois.
Yeah, again, most surprising. We can't say, hey, whoever UAB's playing.
Yeah, no.
That's a blowout every week.
Yeah,
and then you stomp on the kicker's leg.
To me, we take the point spread.
Yeah.
Okay, this is 7.5. And then you go, it's going to end up really being 27.
Yeah, I mean, if Alabama was to beat Georgia by 17 this weekend.
That's a blowout.
That's a blowout. Yeah. Especially when you take the point spread. That's a 20-point swing.
Yeah.
So I'd sort of like to do that. We'll let us know in the work if you'd rather do that than sneaky good game, because you guys are all smart. You know the sneaky good games. I would have liked to have known early on that not only was I going to lose the Illinois bet, that I was going to lose it. Like I had already arranged my TVs and had that on my main TV.
Yeah.
And I can't tell you how many times I had to pull in that night window. I was pulling things off my main TV all night long and putting new things up there.
I can't believe I had Missouri, South Carolina on for a good bit.
I did too.
No, it was a good game.
It was one of the closer games.
When I laid the 6.5, because I ended up playing Indiana this past week at LancesLog.com.
Smart play.
No, but going into it, I was like, man, that is just such a freaking massive number. I mean, 6.5, when you've got what at least going into the game looked like teams, that's a big number.
Yeah, and knowing the way Bielema likes to play football, that's a big number.
Yeah,
and they got walked out. I mean, it's an amazing
and you
game.
wonder, and like Fox had already planned on being in Champaign this week for Big Noon with Illinois and USC, and you just wonder, like USC's just steady Eddie right now. They didn't do anything special. And by the way, my stock up was going to be Mekhi Lemon. If you have not watched Mekhi Lemon play, the guy can do absolutely everything for USC. He is a dark horse Heisman guy along with Maeva right now. But now USC goes to Champaign, which I'm kind of worried about that game, but where does Illinois mentally go after getting pulverized like that?
I would tell you, Maeva is starting to get a lot of conversations about the Heisman Trophy.
As he should.
He is so
He's
good.
been tearing it up. I watched a lot of that game Saturday night. He was fantastic against Michigan State.
Joel Klatt will have that game. He joins us at the top of the hour. My stock up is Eli Drinkwitz in Missouri because they can run the damn ball. They run the damn ball.
Hardy he's legitimate. And, a lot of these kids you'll see, they'll bust onto the scene. And, Furman brought up the fact that he's Doak Walker, the favorite right now. But, I mean, they went back out and it literally doesn't matter who is in that backfield. They know how to run the football. And you got to give Drinkwitz a lot of credit. And watching how he schemes a lot of this stuff, I mean, the open gaps and some of the space, the daylight they're able to run to is pretty incredible.
Over 100 yards a game because of the scheming there. And the down for me is the old Pac-12 rivalries. Because of where we are now.
That's fine, too.
Is it really? Oregon State,
Apple Cup
Washington,
and Civil War were terrible this weekend.
And I don't know if they'll ever be good again.
I don't know that you'll keep playing them.
Yeah.
I mean, at some point, I just wonder if they'll even keep playing them. It's very, very sad. Not that those are some of the top rivalries in football, but I watched the Apple Cup and I watched the Civil War. I mean, it's just part of what college football is built on.
But if I'm alums of those schools, I mean, if for some reason Navy decided not to put an emphasis on football and Army kept doing it, it would be sad that Army and Navy didn't play each other anymore, or they did play and it was never competitive. It's sort of sad if I was a Washington State alum, or Oregon State alum, that they're not going to be on the same level anymore.
It's inconsequential, though. And we used to have it on Rivalry Weekend. And, every 4 or 5 years, you'd get an upset in the Civil War or the Apple Cup, and it was a big deal. But now, I agree with you guys. I think it's gone.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll go ahead since that was mine Apple Cup Civil War. My up is Ryan Silverfield. Now, look, I know what everybody's going to say is, Well, I mean, Arkansas gifted him the win at the end. Yeah, his team was also down 28-10 to an SEC team.
That's right.
And they had the temerity to come back and be in a position where that fumble actually mattered. Do you like the word temerity?
Temerity.
It's a great word.
Yeah.
This guy, it is hard to believe, though, as well as he's coached, that Memphis has now kept him. This is his 6th year, 6 full season at Memphis.
Yeah, but again, it's an American job, and they're probably paying him $2.5 million.
I mean, he replaced Fuente, who's already gone to Virginia Tech and gotten fired, and this guy's still at Memphis and winning games.
Didn't he replace Norvell, who replaced Fuente?
Yeah,
Norvell.
Yeah. And that might be why people are gun shy.
Yeah,
it's
Could
like
be. Neither one of those have. Well,
yeah. I mean,
Norvell may be back working again. I don't really know.
We have got a legitimate. I don't even think it's quarterback controversy, but Trinidad Chambliss winning back-to-back national championships at Ferris State. The guy can play, and maybe it didn't look like that in fall camp, and maybe it looked obvious that Austin Simmons was the better option. But this guy's got over 850 combined yards right now, 9 touchdowns, no turnovers. I think the offense looks as good as it did with Jackson Dart with Chambliss running this thing. So,
and that was I know it was SEC versus an American. That's a good Tulane team.
Oh, that was an ass whipping, never in doubt. That's how you want an SEC team. Arkansas needed to close the deal like that. Ole Miss did what they needed to.
And from the jump, I mean, that was not like they toyed with them for a minute. They were dominant from the get-go.
Now, I know it was D2 to college, not JUCO, like blend to Auburn. And I'm not saying Ole Miss is going to win the national championship, and I'm not saying Chambliss is Cam Newton. But I wonder if Lane really knew what he had until they got into the game.
Oh, I don't think so.
And now,
how would you?
Now you're like,
he Wally pipped. He Wally pipped Simmons. I don't think Simmons
I don't know if you're
going
to get Simmons back on the field.
LSU Ole Miss this weekend, 2:30 in Oxford.
Ole Miss favored in that game, and you got to start even if
1.5.
So I think it's 2, 2.5.
Yeah.
Even if Simmons is healthy, you start Chambliss right now, right?
Oh, yeah, I think you do.
I do too.
Yeah, I don't even think it's a question. Look, I don't want to deny what Shane Beamer has done in Columbia. It's become a pretty solid program. But running the ball, stopping the run, you knew exactly what Drinkowitz wanted to do. You have -9 rushing yards, and you give up 287 on the ground, and you have 14 penalties. I don't know if you guys thought this. There was way too many penalties in every game I watched this weekend.
Well, I don't understand the Auburn game, Lance, where there was so many penalties.
22 penalties called.
And most of them were in the first half. In the second half, they stopped calling penalties.
The obvious ones.
It was constant in the first half. It was one play after another.
It was almost like they hit a quota.
Yeah.
And they decided, okay, I guess both these teams have learned how to block now because there's no more holding penalties.
Let them play, boys.
And there's no more pass interference calls. That was odd. It was an odd officiated game, and I'm not going to harp on it anymore after today's show. But I trumpet SEC officiating. I always have. We are better in the SEC than anywhere else, and we still are in college football.
I will say.
But that was very old school, early 2000s Pac-12 where they were missing calls, some obvious calls, and they were, I think, mismanaging the game a little bit.
I don't remember that white hat. Like, I don't remember having seen that guy before.
Everybody in my timeline was telling me, Dunaway, this is the same crew that did the Ryan Williams call Alabama to Oklahoma last year.
I can confirm that. I don't remember that being the case.
I
cannot confirm it either.
Our buddy Ian Fitzsimmons was on the game for ESPN Radio, and he said that this is one of the more well-respected crews in the SEC.
Yeah.
You know,
look,
I just think if you carry the SEC logo, you're well respected.
Yeah, but I mean, the last 2 weeks, the SEC officiating has gotten destroyed for missing a takedown on the Texas A&M game winner at Notre Dame.
Klatt's right about that, though. Whether it's the SEC or in the NFL, that was blatant.
They missed it.
But they do. They do sometimes swallow whistles on final plays of games.
No, you're right. But then they've had to come out the very next week and apologize for an egregious missed call.
Yep.
I mean, I'm like you, Jim. I've always said the SEC's got it better. If you watch a lot of college football, the SEC's better than anybody else. Yeah. But they have been right at the center of controversy for 2 straight weeks now.
And in truth, in fairness, the deceptive substitution hideout play, I don't think should be on the officials on the field.
I kind of agree. That'll be reviewed.
That should be a reviewable play. That I think we take time. Do we take time to confirm like the NFL does every scoring play?
That is true.
So I think alarm bells should have gone off and said, "God, there's not an Auburn player in the screen here. What went on?"
Yeah.
And I think I should have quickly been able to replay it and said, "Was he inside the numbers when the ball was placed? Is this a deceptive substitution? buzz down. Let's stop and take a look at this.
You want to get it right.
And then at that point, it should have been 15 yards in Oklahoma.
One more point on
you know how controversial that's going to be.
My stock down Shane Beamer. I think they only win one conference game, and that's got to be this weekend against Kentucky. Yeah. I think they're going to end up 1-7 in conference, which is crazy considering this was the number 11 team in the nation 2 weeks ago.
Mike Shula will be the fall guy in this as the offensive coordinator because they are struggling offensively. Lenore Sellers going into this week was still projected or had become the projected number 1 quarterback off the board in the NFL, according to scouts.
I'm going to stick with it. It's going to be Mendoza. I'm the only guy sticking with that. Right. But I do think Lenore Sellers is going to be drafted like this. He wasn't bad. He has nothing around him. I think they'll look at Sellers and they'll be like Anthony Richardson, and look, that hasn't worked out for the Colts either. Yeah. But there is so much upside.
Yeah, find somebody else.
There is so much. Josh Allen.
Okay.
Yeah, there's so much upside when it comes to Sellers. I mean, he's still going to be a top 10 guy. Like, I find it hard to believe he'll fall out of the top 10 because physically he is so gifted. And again, I don't think it was his fault this past weekend. They have got to figure out some weapons around him.
A couple of our great sponsors before we get to Joel Klatt. One of them is our friends at Grace Tree Service. I messed up on the Illinois pick. I probably missed up on defending Dabo in the rant. A ton of mess-ups by me last week. Grace Tree Service to clean up all your dead wood as well.
Yeah, look, I'll tell you who messed up was the officiating in Philadelphia at Lincoln Financial yesterday. Family-owned right here in Birmingham for the last 25-plus years. They are the experts in high-risk tree removals, the pruning, soil health, treatment to strengthen those trees and plants. Look, you care for your lawn, care for your trees too. If some of those trees need to go, if you've got those what are they, the pine beetles? You can actually hear them at night when you go outside, and they're just destroying the trees. And you don't want to. What happened to me? One of the trees falls, it crushes a neighbor's fence. Make sure you get those trees extracted. That's why I called our friends at Grace. 205-255-1239. You see it on the screen, the QR code. You can scan that right now or go online, gracetree.com.
I-65 exit 304 in Coleman, 334 indicator is where you find our friends at Johnston RV Center. And right now, they are getting rid of the 2025s to make room for the 2026s. At Johnston RV Center, you could be the beneficiary of that if you go visit them right now at one of those 2 great locations. And listen, the banks are being very aggressive in lending right now, so that's going to help you too.
Let's go.
Yeah, no doubt about it, man.
USA.
So if you want,
USA.
And the interest rates are coming down, so there you go.
Let's go, America.
So it's a great time to either visit them on the web, johnstonrvcenter.com, or I-65 exit 304 in Coleman, 334 indicator, johnstonrvcenter.com. Klatt is next.
Follow Dunaway on Twitter and Instagram at Jim Dunaway.
Honey, a while back, life knocked me flat on my behind. I was hit by an 18-wheeler, and Lord of mercy, it left me hurting. Now, I heard through the grapevine that Alexander Shannara had recovered big money for some people. You been hurt? Can't work? Don't sit there suffering. Call my people at Alexander Shannara Trial Attorneys. Ain't gonna cost you a dime, so pick up the phone and dial 659-777-7777 or go to Shannara.com, because when I called, Alexander Shannara answered.
Call me, Alabama.
No representation made that the legal services provided are better than legal services provided by other attorneys.
This is what being a NASCAR fan is all about. Singular history and tradition.
Thank you, everybody, for coming out.
And triple header playoffs action to ratchet up the stakes. Throw in a can't miss concert, and you've got more than a race. You've got Talladega. NASCAR Playoffs Weekend at Talladega, October 17th through the 19th. Get your tickets now at TalladegaSuperspeedway.com. Ticketmaster, the official ticketing partner of NASCAR.
Hey, for all of your IT and printing needs, reach out to our friends at Xerox Business Solutions. Look, I'm still one of those old school guys. I print my notes every single day for the show. If you watch the show here on the next round, you see all the notes in front of me. From day one, Xerox Business Solutions, they've been with us here at the next round. Local for over 45 years. For all of your IT and printing needs, visit XeroxBusinessSolutions.com or call 205-969-3000. That's 205-969-3000.
What are you waiting for? It's non-stop gaming action at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Come play more than 900 of the latest and greatest games around, featuring fun bonuses and big jackpots. You can wager and win on horse and greyhound races from all over the world. There are more ways to win at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Birmingham Racecourse Casino, located off I-459, exit 31, Germie Parkway. Must be 21 or older.
Hey, Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Next Round shirts, Next Round hoodies, and Next Round hats all in one place, nextround.store. Find your favorite piece of gear from your favorite show and put it in your rotation. You never know, you might be in one of our videos showing Next Round gear being worn all over the world. Find all of your favorite Next Round gear by visiting nextround.store. Place an order for you and that big Next Round fan in your life at nextround.store. Look your best at work, at school, at the stadium, or anywhere you go wearing Next Round gear from nextround.store.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between two warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
So good. College football this week. Champy's, your tailgating place. Highway 119 in Alabaster. Go by and see Sterling and the folks at Champy's Chicken for your lunch, dinner, happy hour, and, of course, your tailgating needs this weekend. We got a good one in the big noon kickoff, folks. Here comes the Trojans from L.A. We're doing it with Miami. We did it last year with Texas. Is USC back? Maybe so.
Joel Klatt, we'll see him Saturday. He's presented by MyBookie.ag, where USC is a 6-point favorite in that game at Illinois. Klatt, what is up, my friend? How are you?
Great. How are you guys doing?
Great. I like great. Great.
I got to tell you, I thought that was just such a great weekend. The first 4 weeks of this college football season, I don't know if they could have been scripted any better, to be quite honest with you. And it's not because any one particular team, won a particular game, as much as it is, and I made this point on my show that just came out today. I don't know if there's a huge amount of difference on any given Saturday between Ohio State and I'll go down to like A&M, which would be my 13th ranked team, or maybe 14th ranked team like Tennessee. And I released my top 10 earlier today, but that's incredible. I can't remember a time. And remember, Lance, I think you asked me right before the year. I think you made the point, actually, rather than asked me. Hey, 8 teams could win the national championship. That's what we were thinking.
Yeah,
before.
I thought it was, for full disclosure, real quick, I'll let you get to your point. I said, looking at this top 10, I think 9 teams could win the national championship. The one I wouldn't include,
9.
It's Miami. I swear I said that. It's Miami.
Yeah.
And now I brought this up, and I'll let you get to your point. Earlier in the show, I said, and I'm being serious about this, I think Texas Tech and Indiana can both make really, really, really deep runs.
I agree, which is wild. And I don't think it's hyperbole. I really don't. In particular, after seeing Tech live and seeing their defensive line play, watching the speed that A&M has. Here's the thing that's so great is, yes, teams have improved, and even from last year, I think Indiana might be better than they were last year, and they were a playoff team. But I think what makes it even better is that no team is flawless. Which that's the better part. In 16 and 17 and 2012, and there was so many years where we just knew, man, Bama is so much better than everybody else. We knew it. In a lot of ways, they were flawless. And I don't feel like that. So the point being is I think that we're deeper even than when we initially discussed that, Lance. And honestly, I could not be more overjoyed with where the sport is at, with the parity, the amount of fan bases that are engaged at the top end of the sport. And I can't remember a better September than what we've had. Some of the giant games. Look at all the games that have gotten 10+ million viewers.
Yes.
Like the pie in college football is just growing. This sport is exploding. And for all of those people that said the playoff would ruin the sport, that NIL would ruin the sport, that the transfer portal would ruin the sport, it's all doing the exact opposite. The exact opposite. Which, I'm encouraged by it. So that's why I wanted to lead with that today.
Well, to your point, we were talking about the Alabama number earlier, going to Georgia this week. It's only 3.5. And I made the point that I think a lot of sports books are going to start to look around the SEC specifically and the Big Ten. And these numbers aren't going to be outlandish. Alabama going on the road to Missouri is not going to be 17 anymore. And you look at Alabama, you got Georgia this week. Then you've got an undefeated Missouri team they'll play. And then an undefeated Vanderbilt team. Both Vanderbilt, Missouri, in my opinion, are legitimate and can beat anybody on a given Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, Bama's schedule all of a sudden looks horrendous. But by the way, and those teams have to play the Bama team that clearly looks better than what they did week one. I don't want to play Alabama right now. Ty Simpson's playing as well as anybody in the country. Some of the throws he made against Wisconsin were – I categorize them as just like special. They're just special throws. If Ryan Williams is getting the ball outside of the numbers, if their defense is playing to their capability, and more specifically, and forgive me if I double up on points because I forget who I say things to, and I might have already said this to you. Simpson, when he's protected, is elite, man. And in week one, the biggest problem with Alabama week one was the offensive line. We can talk a lot about a lot of things that went wrong at Florida State. And there was a lot of things, obviously. But it was primarily the offensive line. When he's protected, the guy is elite, but, completing over 76% of his passes. He's throwing the ball incredibly well. So, to your point, yes, Bama has got to play some undefeated teams that have life. And Missouri is one of those, and Vanderbilt is one of those. And those are not easy games. But those teams also have to play Alabama. The one thing that I would just point out, and I'm sure you guys, because you guys cover it so thoroughly, and I think I'm not just pandering here. You guys are smart. You guys look at a lot of different things. Bama is not good in true road games over the last year and a half. They just aren't, and so that's where I would get worried for Bama in some of these tougher matchups on the road is where I start getting worried, and we're going to see a massive one, obviously, this week.
5 teams, Joel, that I thought were going to lose this weekend impressed me so much because of how physical they were on defense and offensively too. But Missouri, Oklahoma, Indiana, Miami, and then the game you had, Texas Tech. All due respect to the late, great Mike Leach, I think of Texas Tech as an offensive school, and we talked about it earlier. Those boys brought the physicality. All 5 of those winners this weekend were so physical in their wins.
Yeah. We could take those each. And to be fair, guys, I have not seen a bunch of the Missouri game, so I haven't watched that back on film. So I'm going to take your word for it on the Missouri side. But to your point, if you're seeing that, then it's real. The other 3, I've either gone back and watched the film or saw large portions of the game. Indiana decimated Illinois at the line of scrimmage.
Killed them.
Decimated them. Ran it for almost 300, sacked the quarterback 7 times. It was just a complete domination. Oklahoma's defense is real. That defense made life miserable on Michigan. They've made life miserable on everybody. 10 sacks is wild. It's wild. And then Tech, seeing them in person, guys, they have depth of answers that they just never had before. It was always my contention, and I've made this point on your show before. Those offenses that are so specific tend to run into somebody that can take their specific strength away, and then they have no answers, and then they lose. That's been the problem with Tennessee. It was the problem with all the true, pure air raid offenses throughout history. It's one of the reasons why God rest his soul, Mike never won a conference championship, Mike Leach, because the offense was so specific. Tech has this depth now where not only did they play great defense, which they did, and their defensive line is one of the best in college football. That's not hyperbole. It actively is one of the best in college football. But on the offensive side, they have a depth of answers that they've never had before. So they've married Mac Leftwich is their young offensive coordinator, and he's got a lot of elements from a lot of these different spread teams. So the spread offense really has like three different, it's almost like a tripod. And I don't want to simplify it too much, but there's the spread option run game, a la Gus Malzahn, Rich Rodriguez, those styles. You've got the true spread, wide split, Tech vintage Mike Leach air raid offense, throwing the football. And then you've got the Art Briles, Josh Heupel, deep choice, spread offense. And at times, a lot of those teams majored in and were specific in each of those lanes. Well, Mac Leftwich has spent time in all three of those offenses and now has married that together. So Tech's offense now has answers. If you take away their run game, which Utah did because they're a good defense and they're physical up front for the most part, they could go to the RPO air raid short passing game. Then that started to get taken away. And it was like, okay, well, where's the answer? So let's try the deep choice stuff. And now let's take off down the field and make throws down the field. And their backup quarterback, Will Hammond, came in and did that. So the answers that they had in a tough game on the road against Utah is what makes them such a competitive team, and a team that's not only separated themselves out in the Big 12, but I think could make a deep run into the college football playoff because of those answers. And I would say the exact same thing about Indiana. And then to your point on Miami owned you on the line of scrimmage if you're Florida offensively. And then Bain is the most impactful game-wrecking defender that we've had in college football thus far this season. And what do you do against him? Florida had no shot, absolutely no shot. So Miami, I moved all the way up to number 2 in my top 10. That's how highly I think of Miami, with a veteran quarterback, a great O-line, and then what has become the most impactful game-wrecking defender in the sport.
Joel Klatt is with us, college football on Fox. You'll see him from Illinois USC with Gus and the All-American Girl coming up on Saturday. The big noon kick, where at mybookie.ag right now, USC is a full touchdown favorite on the road in Champaign. I want to ask you about another Big Ten game at mybookie.ag. Penn State is a 3.5-point favorite over Oregon. These are the uncomfortable spots for James Franklin. These are the games he does not win. But here he is, a favorite over last year's Big Ten champion in Happy Valley Saturday night. What is different about this game for James Franklin, if anything, that he'll actually win one of these?
I don't know. I have no idea until he proves that he can do it. We don't know a bunch about Penn State because their schedule has not been great. Nope. And they've played lackluster at times, and they've played well at times. And we think we know about Penn State, but we don't know about Penn State like we do several other teams, in the top 10. I think that you're seeing that line. Let's just say, sake of argument, Oregon would have controlled the run game of Northwestern, and they wouldn't have run the ball for 170 yards. Granted, 70 of them on one carry when the backups were in. But, truth be told, they struggled with the run game at times. Dan Lanning was not pleased with that. If that's not the case, then Oregon's favored in this game. I can't wait to watch this one. I honestly don't know how it's going to go because the pressure is so immense on Penn State. If Oregon loses this game, I don't feel like people are going to panic about Oregon and Dan Lanning. But if Penn State loses this game, it is like, here we go again. We can't do it. Yeah, we went to the national semifinal, but let's remember we beat Boise and SMU in the college football playoff. So I think that there's an immense amount of pressure on Penn State, and I think that they're lucky to be at home. Basically, 3.5 and a whiteout toward them is a pick 'em. It's a coin flip, or maybe even on a neutral favored Oregon by 2. Wouldn't you think, Lance, that the whiteout environment is at least 3, maybe 4 points from Vegas?
Yeah, I think those are a little overrated, but I just think the environment overall probably, yeah. At least a couple of points.
And if I could on Oregon Northwestern, like this stuff shouldn't matter, and maybe you tell me I'm an idiot on this, but I think when you're a team like Oregon and you're playing in some makeshift 17,000-seat stadium against an inferior opponent, Klatt, it's kind of hard to have the same energy as when you're playing in Happy Valley or at Alton or something like that.
You got to bring your own guts.
Yeah,
well, I mean, you do, but that's hard to do.
18 to 22-year-olds.
Yeah, I mean, that's just that you were doing the game. It had to feel weird to be there. It had just to feel weird to play in it. You just don't do that a lot.
Yeah, I mean, it was taking me back to 2007 when I was doing high school football in Colorado, Aurora Hinckley versus Littleton.
Yeah, right.
So it was definitely weird. I think that Lanning wouldn't take that excuse if you offered it to him. I will say this, man, this guy is a master motivator, and I think Dante Moore is going to be in New York as a Heisman contender, and this is the week that everyone's like, oh, wow. Like Dante Moore is really good. DeCorian Moore, their true freshman wide receiver, is excellent. They've got the best stable of running backs in the country. They're 6th deep at running back. So, it's going to be an incredible game. Those two games, man, Georgia, Bama, Oregon, Penn State, you can't ask for anything more.
So you're okay with Moore, Bryant, and Benson as a wide receiver core? You think they're good enough for Dante?
I do.
Yeah,
I do. Obviously, they would love to have Evan Stewart out there, but DeCorian Moore is a special player.
Okay.
Dunaway gave us a little bit of a Dabo reference with the bring your own guts. Dabo's low-hanging fruit, so I'll stay away from him. But I asked you about the press conference last week. But specifically, what's crazy is there was no way with Tom Allen taking over this defense, they weren't going to be a top 10 national defense. They're 11th in total defense in the ACC.
Oh,
like, Cade Klubnik, we saw the inconsistencies of Cade his first couple of years, so I can kind of get that. But with this defensive front, how are they struggling like this defensively, Joel?
No idea. And so, listen, I'm going to be wrong. You're going to be wrong. Like, we're all going to be wrong. And that's what's beautiful about it. And I'd like to think that I have enough integrity and character to raise my hand and be like, hey, man, I was totally off base. I feel like I did that. Remember years ago when I made the stupid Saban comment to Colin Cowherd, which Bama fans continue to remind me of. And I'll raise my hand and be like, hey, that was the dumbest thing I've ever said. Now, when I'm wrong and particularly way off base, I try really hard to learn from that. Hey, what did I miss? What did I not see? What was I emotional about? Was my bias getting in the way? All these different things. Illinois, Indiana, I was off base on that game. And it's like, okay, why? What did I not see? Well, I didn't see that Indiana is better than last year at the line of scrimmage. And I should have valued that a lot more, in particular the way they were running the football. It was hard because they just hadn't played anybody. And I thought that the level of their schedule was masking maybe some inefficiencies on their team. That wasn't the case. Okay, so try to learn from that. I picked Clemson to win the national championship. What in God's name did I miss? And I'm thinking to myself, like, okay, what did I like? Well, their head coach is one of 3 head coaches that have won a national championship. So they've got that. They've got a defensive coordinator that's coming in that just played in the national semifinal and was an excellent defensive coordinator a year ago. And he's taking over a defense that might have 3 first-round draft picks, two in the front, a corner. They have 16 starters back, 4 offensive linemen back from a year ago. They went to the playoff last year and gave Texas everything that they could want in Austin in that playoff game. They've got their quarterback back. This is his 3rd year starting in the same system. So those inconsistencies should iron out. I don't know what I missed. This is wild. It's even last year with Florida State, you could say, like, you know what? I valued too much that they were going to be able to create a team and a team chemistry with all those transfers, even after guys left. And I valued that too much, that was going to be easy for them to recreate what they had the year before. Guys, I am at a loss looking at Clemson. I don't understand it at all. I don't know why they are better, why they aren't better. I have no idea why I continue to look up every single week, and in the first quarter, they're down multiple scores. It makes no sense whatsoever. They clearly have something wrong in their locker room. I don't know what it is. I would be speculating to suggest that I have no idea what's going on there. It is such an anomaly, and I have no idea how I would fix that. I still look back and I'm like, Clemson was not a terrible pick for a national champion. with all of those factors. And now they're not even close to a top 25 team. Not even close. They are a bad football team, which downstream of that, here's the thing that I think that we need to do, and I tried to do it in my top 10 this week. We can't just value LSU's win at Clemson like we did the week it happened. I have moved LSU now down to 7. They can't just sit up there in the top 5 because, well, they won at Clemson and they beat Florida. Well, Florida is not any good whatsoever. And well, I shouldn't say that. The defense is fine. Their offense is just absolutely bootleg. And you can't value the Clemson win. So you have to adjust on LSU and be downstream of the things that we're learning in September.
I'm not a mechanic, but I always throw out when somebody's car won't crank, like Clemson won't crank right now, I always throw out the alternator. It's the alternator. I think they've got an alternator problem in the Clemson locker room. Something that's not holding.
Okay, well, what's the alternator?
Yeah,
Like,
it's not holding the charge.
Yeah.
It's not holding the charge. They got no juice in the battery. They can't hold the charge. That falls on the head coach. It falls
so it's just
on
like
Dabo.
motivation. They're just not like ready to play. They've got no juice.
I would say the head coach there, and I know Lance says low hanging fruit. The head coach there has done one press conference where he publicly called out his quarterback, and that didn't work. Then he did another press conference where he basically dared the power brokers to buy him out, and that didn't work. So
he's pressed all the buttons now.
It looks like Klatt. He's trying to press every button he knows, and none of them are working. It won't crank.
None of them are working, and we've all been there. So here's the thing: is maybe Clemson needs to park on a hill and pop the clutch. Because if your car don't start, then you better have a manual and you better pop that clutch. My first car was an '85 Toyota pickup. And that thing never started, never one time. So me and my buddies would just push it and pop the clutch, pushing it through the parking lot, parking on hills. I would go find a hill and park on the hill, turn into the curb, and then so I could roll down, pop the clutch. Maybe Clemson needs to pop the clutch. Here's the thing, though. They're stuck. They're totally stuck. Dabo, I'm sure you've talked about it. He has no buyout language in his contract. Or excuse me, no offset language in his contract. That is... Who signed that contract from the Clemson side with no offset language? So here's what that means. Let's say they move on. And they're thinking to themselves like, okay, well, we're just going to take that $11 million annually and it's going to be a line item on our budget moving forward. Well, first of all, they don't get the revenue distribution to just absorb $11 million of dead weight. They can't have that quote unquote dead cap money sitting there. So you're thinking to yourself like, well, Dabo's still one of the 3 head coaches that have won a national championship, so someone would hire him. Yeah, that's probably the case. Someone would hire him. All that means is that Dabo will double dip. He'll get hired for $6 or $7 million somewhere else, and they still have to pay him the $11 million every year until 2031. That's an egregiously bad contract that Clemson signed, and now they're stuck with it. Because if they wanted to move on, they either need to pay him the lump sum of $60 million in 90 days or $11 million a year until 2031 with no offset.
Yep.
Wild.
And by the way, with them losing football games, that means they're not getting the same quality slots in TV, which hurts their ACC money because of the new distribution and the finance, which is less money in their pockets as well. It's costing them money all over the table. I would kick myself if I didn't ask one of the great football minds in America to give me a thought on the deceptive substitution hideout play in the Oklahoma-Auburn game. I know you've seen it. Give me a thought as a former quarterback who probably at some point practiced this play.
Yeah. I did. I've run the play 100%.
Did you feel?
I was 12 years old.
12 years old.
You were 12 years old. Yeah.
So hokey.
It was we called it Arvada midget football. That's what we call it. Apparently you can't call it that anymore.
Sure.
So whatever. Listen, I love trick plays. I don't love that type of deception. Like I really don't. So, and I know that the SEC officials, if I'm not mistaken, have come out and said like we totally missed it. That should have been an unsportsmanlike conduct, and that's correct, and it should have been. And Auburn fans have the right to be upset. They have the absolute right to be upset. Now, is it the reason that they lost the football game? That's hard. That's hard, right? I also talked about the blatantly missed holding call on the 4th down in the A&M Notre Dame game last week. I just wish officiating was better and more consistent. I do appreciate that the SEC was at least willing to raise their hand and say, hey, we made a mistake. That's more than what we've gotten in the past from these officiating bodies. And yeah, that type of a play, listen, you can have double reverses, you can have trick plays, you can do all that stuff. But a play like that, like I said, we had that play and we ran it. I was 12 years old. It was my first year playing tackle football in Arvada Midget Little League. Like, come on. What are we doing?
I am so excited you get USC this week. I know they haven't played anybody,
Yeah.
but Purdue is improved. Michigan State is improved, and they did what they needed to do, and they won both those games by double digits. The number one total offense in college football. Maeva is great. Mekhi Lemon, he's only got 26 touches in 4 games. To me, and I said this to these guys earlier, he is one of these hidden gems in college football that nobody's talking about, but based on their schedule coming up over the next 4 weeks, people will be talking about Lemon. And I really respect Lincoln Riley. I think we all do, is a play caller. I think he has been laying in the weeds Lemon, and I think he's got some big plays coming up for him.
So, yes, let me affirm your position. I think Lemon is fantastic. There was a deep ball that Maeva threw to Lemon that was just like exceptional in that game late. I know on the East Coast, you guys are probably like, what time does this game kick off?
God,
1:35, I think I shut it down finally.
Yeah, so miserable in the second half of that game.
That's rough. I mean, think about what Michigan State's players felt like at the end of that game. I can't even imagine. That being said, I really like USC. I don't know if they're ready for that top 13 yet. I'm not, so I'll hold out judgment until I can see them this week. Here's what I really like about them, and it's not just the fact that they've got weapons on the outside and a quarterback playing really well, which they do. It's that this is a lot more in line with the way that Lincoln Riley won at Oklahoma because they're running the football. If you go back to those teams, in Lincoln Riley's tenure at OU, if you just couple all of that together, over that span of time, Oklahoma was the number 1 rushing yards per attempt team in college football. No one realized that because everything else was so high-powered. They were also featuring quarterbacks like Baker Mayfield, who was 3rd in the country throwing the football in the year that he won the Heisman. And if you look at those numbers and then you put them up against what we're seeing this year from USC, they're almost identical. They really are in terms of what they're doing running the football with Wayman Jordan. Wayman Jordan was a junior college, number 1 junior college transfer in the country, and he's playing like it. He's been fabulous. They've got depth at running back. They didn't even have Lane on the field, Jacoby Lane last week, and they were still able to put up those offensive numbers. And Maeva is more in line with what Baker used to do, or even Kyler, not obviously the speed of Kyler, but they're utilizing the offense in a way in which the offense can be at its best, and that to me is the secret sauce. Caleb never did that. He played outside of the offense too much, and then they didn't run the football or try to feature the run, didn't have the offensive line to feature the run in the last couple of years, and now they do, and that's what makes them so dangerous. And legitimately in these next 4 weeks, they've got at Illinois, they're going to have Michigan, they're going to have Notre Dame, and Nebraska, I believe.
Yep.
Right? Is that their next 4? And you look at the rest of that schedule, what happens if they go 3-1 over the next 4?
They're getting
heck, even 2-2. You know, like you're staring down the barrel of a 10-2, maybe 11-1 USC team that would get into the playoff. And again, this speaks to the level of depth in college football. We've got a lot of teams playing at a high level, and I think the Trojans are one of them.
You can put it on Fox Friday night and then not change the channel for a while, because that Friday night game is TCU Arizona State. Man, that looks to be a good one on a Friday. That'll
Hoover's
lead into
playing really well.
Hoover's
Josh
so
Hoover
good.
looks good, doesn't he?
Yeah. And so they'll be in the desert, so that's a good one. Then USC and Illinois with Joel's big game coming up. Man, your football knowledge is so much fun, but you played baseball too.
I did.
I'm watching this catcher.
Not very well. Well, it was good in order to get drafted, but then it was like, oh man. I barely hit. I think I hit 206. I think Lance has brought that up.
I'm not. You did have an incredible story, and I think it was with Cowherd. Back to that about, was it? Well, we knew the Ricky Henderson story, but there was another one. Weren't you actually hammered in the batter's box? Not to bring up your alcohol troubles from the past.
Oh gosh, yeah. That one. Not proud of that one.
Yeah.
No, I wasn't inebriated, but I might have had a big night prior. And
a lot of baseball players do, though. Baseball players run as hard as anybody, especially pitchers.
I thought that I wasn't going to be in the lineup the next day, and we went back to the stadium one night, and our trainer at the time, I'm not going to use any names, our trainer at the time was a really good friend, and he was from Nicaragua. And so we drank rum and smoked Nicaraguan cigars like until the sun came up. So that combination, like the next night, I was just so sick. I just thought I was going to throw up the whole time. Sure enough, I was in the lineup, and I stood in the batter's box the first at bat, and I thought to myself, if I swing and miss, like there's a good chance that I throw up, like right on the plate. And so my level of focus had never been higher in my entire life, and I shortened up, and sure enough, I hit the first ball. I hit a line drive right over the second baseman, just like bam. And right when the ball's in the air, like, is this a single? Is this a double? Like what's going on? And I know it's going to be in the right center gap. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I've got to sprint to second. And I took a big deep breath and I just ran as hard as I could to second. I slide in, I call time, and then I just face center field. And I was like, if I throw up right now, I throw up right now. And I didn't somehow, but every at bat that night, I had the level of concentration that was kind of uncommon. And it's the only night in my career that I went 4 for 4.
Wow.
Oh no.
Wow.
Not worth the sacrifice.
No, and like I disdain, not disdain. The story is what it is. I hate that it had like a positive ending. I wish in hindsight it would have been 0 for 4 because I don't like making light of it. Listen, I had to leave baseball not just because I wasn't having great success, but because I was failing from a personal standpoint. And and I've been open about that, and I appreciate the opportunities to speak about it because the redemptive power of Christ in my life has been overwhelming. I'm now a little over 14 years sober, feel like a new creation in Him. And, if my story can help somebody else realize that, like, hey, like change is afforded you. He came down here for us. We don't have to reach for Him. He came down here for us. He died for us, and He gave us a path to the seat of the throne. And it doesn't matter what I have done. It just matters what I choose and what I choose to live in. So,
well, let me ask you this real quick about your sobriety.
I take that question and give you a little of my testimony.
I want to ask you this because anybody out there that might be struggling with any kind of substance abuse, like I think one of the big, and I've talked to people about this, I think a lot of people fear like they're gonna miss out on something. Like you're scared to death, whether it's social outings, whether it's a wedding or watching football with your boys. So how much better has your life been without alcohol? And did you fear that kind of stuff going into that?
Sure. I feared that stuff. And maybe for a time, there was these moments of isolation and maybe a little bit of woe is me. But what has come because of my decisions has been abundantly better. And the life that I have and lead now is abundantly better. I have more peace. I have more joy. I have much stronger relationships that are not bound by, social activities, but are bound by personal relationship and love for one another, whether it's my friends or my family. And I think all of those other things inhibit that. So what has come from my decisions to live a more fruitful life, I guess I would say, has been abundantly better than any decision that I made in those times. To try to seek worldly affirmation and these guys love when I'm around and we get to have fun and this or that, but it's like, do they really care about you? Do they really love you and support you and want you to be a better version of yourself? And so again, the peace and joy that I experience now is abundantly more than any of those worldly desires and wants that I had prior.
If you want to see the ultimate product of great decision making by Klatt, at Joel_Klatt on Instagram, where you'll see his beautiful wife and his 3 sons on the field with him for Saturday's game at Utah.
Yeah, they came out to the game this week. That was awesome.
Yeah, it's a great
little
photo.
Shorter trip, obviously. I live in California, so they got to come out to Salt Lake, and I love having them there. I don't get a chance to experience college football with my boys, like maybe everyone else does, which is the only downside to my career. But once a year, they come out to a game, and we had a great time. And the Texas Tech players high-fived them.
Yeah.
So they don't have a dog in the fight, but they were like, oh man, those Red Raider players were awesome. And so sure enough, my youngest son is up in the stands like, go Tech, go. and everyone's like, hey man, relax. Like we're in Utah.
Is Will Hammond better than Baron Morton? I know that's a crazy question, but
I mean, you have to trust that Joey McGuire would put the best option out there for himself and his team. I mean, Barron was playing at an incredibly high level, and the defense was much fresher with Barron on the field. They got really tired. They tried to play man coverage the entire day. They got very tired, but Will Hammond's ability to throw the football was remarkable. He was accurate down the field. Some of those deep passes were right on the money. So it's hard for me to say is he better than Baron Morton? Well, he played better on Saturday. I don't know if that means that he's better overall, and I certainly trust that Joey McGuire and Mac Leftwich wouldn't just put a guy out there that isn't as good. But it is a position. I will tell you this, and I experienced this as a player. It is a position that you don't really know until you know about a guy. How is he going to deal with the lights? And there are plenty of players that aren't as good in practice and aren't as good in scrimmage scenarios that are better when the lights are brightest. Quick story. That was me. I wasn't as talented as the other quarterbacks. So when we were just throwing 7-on-7 or routes on air and just in practice, a lot of times the other quarterbacks would look better than me. So what I used to do is I would go into Coach Barnett's office and actively sabotage the entire race towards my direction. Every scrimmage we ever played in the spring and or the fall, I would go in and I would say, okay, hey, you need to take the gold jersey off. We need to be live today. And he'd be like, why, Joel, you get hit all the time. Why do you need to be live? And I would say, because I need to be able to prove that I'm the best quarterback on this team. And in order to do that, I need a live setting. I need a play clock. I need a live rush. I need to operate the system to show that I'm the best operator, not just the best thrower of the football. And he would do it to his credit. He would allow us to be live, and the other quarterbacks hated it, and I loved it. I loved every moment of it.
All right, you'll see Klatt with Gus and the All-American Girls Saturday morning, big noon kick, 11 o'clock Central Time, as USC takes on Illinois. Always fun, Klatt. We appreciate the time, buddy.
Thank you, Joel.
Yeah, thanks, guys. I appreciate you.
Yep, we'll see you next week. Klatt with us every single Monday, presented by MyBookie.ag. Code next round, that game he's calling. USC is a 7-point favorite right now in that game. Alabama, a 3-point dog on the road. Auburn, a 4.5-point dog on the road. You can play all those games right there at MyBookie.ag. Code next round when you sign up at MyBookie.ag. And you get that bet back bonus guarantee up to $500. $500. If you lose your first bet, they put it right back into your account. You can play again right there when you sign up at MyBookie.ag using code next round.
Absolutely. One of the most important things for your health is a good night's sleep, getting that 8 hours. And our friends at CPAP Plus, they can help out with this. A lot of people need a sleep study. Maybe your wife tells you, hey, you're snoring way too much. You could have sleep apnea. A lot of people don't want to deal with the lab. You don't want to deal with the insurance. Guess what? No lab, no insurance. Just easy to wear fingertip devices, clinically validated that connect to your smartphone, complete with a physician's interpretation of your results. 5 locations from our friends at CPAP Plus: Birmingham, Trustful, Pelham, Foley, Troy, and right now it's Alabama's best home sleep testing and CPAP. Only $199 for that home sleep test. You can get the information. Just go to sleephomealabama.com. That is sleephomealabama.com.
Take the next round anywhere you go with official Next Round gear. Buy yours today at nextround.store.
Honey, a while back, life knocked me flat on my behind. I was hit by an 18-wheeler, and Lord of mercy, it left me hurting. Now, I heard through the grapevine that Alexander Shannara had recovered big money for some people. You been hurt? Can't work? Don't sit there suffering. Call my people at Alexander Shannara Trial Attorneys. Ain't gonna cost you a dime, so pick up the phone and dial 659-777-7777 or go to Shannara.com, because when I called, Alexander Shannara answered.
Call me, Alabama.
No representation made that the legal services provided are better than legal services provided by other attorneys.
This is what being a NASCAR fan is all about. Singular history and tradition.
Thank you, everybody, for coming out.
And triple header playoffs action to ratchet up the stakes. Throw in a can't miss concert, and you've got more than a race. You've got Talladega. NASCAR Playoffs Weekend at Talladega, October 17th through the 19th. Get your tickets now at TalladegaSuperspeedway.com. Ticketmaster, the official ticketing partner of NASCAR.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the Next Round to tell you about my friends at Michelson Laser Vision, located conveniently UAB Highlands. Almost 20 years ago, I went in for the procedure. Only took 12 minutes for both eyes. When I went in, I had 20/200 vision. I was legally blind. Now I have 20/15 vision, still 19 years later. Make the call today. Schedule a hassle-free consultation. 969-8100. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, Michelson Laser Vision. Make sure you tell them the Next Round sent you. 969-8100 or MichelsonLaserVision.com.
What a matchup we've got, folks. Just nonstop action. The energy is electric and the fans are all in. An intense game like this calls for a Coca-Cola. Ah, crisp and refreshing. That's a game changer. Yeah, that taste scores every time. And just like that, they're back at it. Passionate fans and an ice-cold Coca-Cola. Now that's a winning combo. No matter the team, no matter the sport, everyone knows fan work is thirsty work. Enjoy a Coca-Cola.
Hey, for all of your IT and printing needs, reach out to our friends at Xerox Business Solutions. Look, I'm still one of those old school guys. I print my notes every single day for the show. If you watch the show here on the Next Round, you see all the notes in front of me. From day one, Xerox Business Solutions, they've been with us here at the Next Round. Local for over 45 years. For all of your IT and printing needs, visit XeroxBusinessSolutions.com or call 205-969-3000. That's 205-969-3000. Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop, rare quality, well-done service.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between 2 warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
All right, we got to get to trash running a tad late here. A couple of our great sponsors, though, that bring you our coverage all the time includes our friends, Alexander Shannara. Tell us about Alexander Shannara, Brownie.
Yeah, based right here in Birmingham. Shannara is a Birmingham guy. Alexander has lived here his entire life, so he headquartered his firm here in Birmingham. 24 years they've been here. They've grown to more than 150 lawyers, supported by more than 500 dedicated team members that have recovered more than $2 billion, maintaining Alexander's core values: integrity, mastery, passion, and success. When you find yourself in need of a lawyer, call the Alexander Shannara Trial Attorneys. You pay nothing unless they win your case. Shannara.com, Shannara.com.
And trust our friends from Hemp Hill Services, the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954 for any plumbing, heating, cooling issues, your home or business. They are ready to serve you. Call Adam, Chad, Andrew. The guys there, hard to stop a train. For more information, hemphillservices.com.
What is the charge? Eating a meal? A succulent Chinese meal? Oh, that's a nice headlock, sir. Oh, yes. I see that you know your judo well. Get your hand off my penis!
LT's Trash is presented by Bud Light.
Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Our friends at Bud Light.
Since we're going to start first with ice cream, and this sounds really, really disgusting. I was on our biscuits and peach last night. The Jenny's, I can't stop eating it, Tyler. Like, it's one of those things, like, I'm full, I'm content, but the flavor is so good, I just continue to power through, and I can eat the entire pint, and that's not good. But speaking of sweets, I just tried the cinnamon rolls that Brooks's wife made us this morning. Absolutely fantastic.
You know the story behind those?
I do not, but they were great.
Is Brooks back there? I can't see.
He is back here.
Brooks, tell Lance why we've got cinnamon rolls here.
My wife it was a brand new recipe. She has a sourdough starter, and they have to I forget what they call it, like the excess from the sourdough, kind of the leftover. You have to skim it off to keep the starter going, and you can make stuff out of that. So
fantastic, and the cinnamon just perfect
so
blend.
Good. Sourdough cinnamon rolls.
But Brooks told me last week he's actually the better chef in the house.
Okay, well,
I'm sure Brown
she's the better baker.
Yeah.
She's a better baker for sure.
Bacon's a pain in the ass. I've heard.
Well, I told Brooks, tell your wife, I'm a cinnamon roll connoisseur. Love them.
Okay,
those are phenomenal. Yeah.
Okay, so everybody like ice cream, right?
Yo, love it.
Love ice
you
cream
guys
too,
ever
yes.
try a sunscreen flavored ice cream?
I'm going to pass on that. I've actually gotten sunscreen in my mouth. It ain't a great taste.
Yeah, I think I've actually done it before, eating ice cream and at the pool or something, and had sunscreen in my mouth.
Yeah. So the commercials, you know what they do for the ice cream? That's not ice cream. You know what that is, right?
That is
sweet potatoes, mashed potatoes.
It is mashed potatoes.
Yeah. And they spray it with something too, I think, to make it look frozen.
So Van Leeuwen has collaborated with Carnival Cruise Line on this dessert, which includes ingredients such as coconut cream, cocoa butter, vanilla extract, and sea salt. It's probably delicious. I love the smell of sunscreen.
That's right.
When I'm on the beach. Just doesn't sound like a flavor you would want.
Yeah.
Sure, we've all had sunscreen in our mouth one way or another.
It seems like we could crumble up some graham cracker as well to make it taste like sand, or give it that sand texture to it a little bit.
God, that's nothing worse. So when you have, I love eating a sandwich on the beach.
Yeah.
There's something about popping that beer and sitting under the umbrella, eating a sandwich, just watching the waves. But sometimes you get a little sand in it.
Yeah, one granule of sand, and it's like.
Now, People magazine tried a pint of the ice cream, and while they've never had the urge to consume sunblock, they said it was really delicious.
I bet it is.
They said that first spoonful, flavor was dominated by vanilla, but then notes of coconut, followed by a distinctly salty kick.
Is that a coconut note? I believe so. I don't like coconut. This does not sound like a good ice cream at all.
I like a hint of coconut. I don't like the texture.
I hate texture. You're right. I like flavor. I hate texture.
That's why a note of coconut was important there. Brownie, you enjoy pina colada.
I do. That's why I had to correct myself. I like taste of coconut. I don't like texture of coconut. Lance is right.
The coconut lifesaver is fantastic.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
No, more coconut, Brown.
No, again, I think I've said this twice now, so I'll make it 3 times. I like, Jim, the taste of coconut.
But coconut cake.
I don't like the
because
texture.
it's got skim.
Right.
Yeah.
Or a cake I would love otherwise, German chocolate cake.
Yeah.
Way too much of that coconut on it.
Yep.
Like, I love everything about German chocolate cake. I like Germany. I like chocolate. I like cake. But they put all that coconut on it.
When did you become a
fan
fan of Germany?
I just like the concept.
It was after the 40s, right?
No, the Germany, yes, the 40s part, not great.
Just making sure.
The Germany part of Epcot is what I really like.
Okay.
Now, I don't know if that's like real Germany, but that's the only Germany I've been to.
You get a good broth there?
Well, yeah, heck of a dang good broth. They got a good broth there.
So Jeeves' knowledge, it always blows me away, but especially his Asian knowledge. Asian fast food chain, is it Krusty?
Oh, I have no idea.
Okay.
I just saw the headline and was like, this is a wild story.
Sabatti, I guess, Krusty Sabatti. They had planned to hand out 1,000 free meals of rice and fried chicken to celebrate the opening of their new location in the French capital.
His Asian knowledge is good, but it's awkward when he's trying to put in the pie when we're playing Trivial Pursuit sideways.
Oh, wow. I did get that.
I got the joke.
A lot of theories out there, by the way. Back-to-school event held on Saturday afternoon near the Chalet Les Halles was promoted by influencer Fars Salvatore, who boasts nearly 500,000 followers on Instagram. But the giveaway, which French police said was attended by 3,000 people, quickly got out of hand. A massive crowd, reportedly made up mostly of young people, showed up at the restaurant, forcing organizers to cancel the event. This restaurant wrote on social media, quote, "The attendance far exceeded all of our expectations, causing a massive influx and crowd movements in front of our establishment. As attendees were asked to disperse, chaos, as you would imagine, erupted. Riot police were called in. Clashes broke out between officers and groups of people. Dramatic footage that you see right there, posted on social media, shows people pushing through crowds, hurling projectiles at cops. The riot police also seen spraying tear gas on attendees and setting up security barriers to disperse the crowds." How can something go so wrong with fast food?
I would agree with you. All this over fast food.
Are we serious? Is this really happening?
Yeah.
They've got the riot shields, Jim.
I mean, they were shooting the smoke bombs into the crowd there.
Must be damn good for rice and chicken, right?
I guess so.
Yeah.
Man, they're getting worked up about it.
We need one of those on 280. It's that good.
Yeah, we need another chicken
I know,
joint on 280.
I've yet to see one we riot over, though, Tyler.
Yeah.
That's my point.
But imagine if we pared it down from 3 Chick-fil-A's in 1 mile just to
Dude.
1. It may be like
Hey,
this.
did you see that tear gas and how they scrambled?
Yes.
It hit them in the legs. There are a lot of levels of... Yeah, watch this. About to come over.
I think it started back over.
Okay, it's on loop. There are a lot of levels of drunkenness. It's next level when you can't even say your own name, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
A Kutztown man facing a stack of charges following a recent traffic stop during which he couldn't spell or remember his own name.
Ryan.
And fake names.
Ryan Brown.
Okay, here it comes. I missed it again.
All right.
Okay. Court records show that on August 27th, police received a report from an off-duty officer regarding a vehicle with an obnoxious exhaust sound. The off-duty police officer said, quote, "You definitely hear it when you see it." Now, in the area of Herb and North Warren Streets, police indeed heard what is described as a, quote, "loud, constant growl emanating from a vehicle as it drove by." Now, the traffic stop was initiated on the vehicle, a gold Saturn. Saturns aren't things anymore, are they?
Nope, they quit making those.
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Yeah, the plant was right up there in just south of Nashville.
Yep.
Yeah.
Jen Brown used to have one.
My wife did have a Saturn. Yep.
After stopping the driver,
Wow, that's very impressive.
Old AM690.
Yeah.
got out of the vehicle, began walking towards a house in the area. Police reportedly told him to stop. That's when the driver, later identified as 46-year-old Christopher McCrae. Apparently, it would take a bit more of trying to reach that point, according to the police affidavit. Police said they asked McCrae for his driver's license, vehicle registration, and proof of insurance. McCrae reportedly said he didn't have that on him and asked why he'd been stopped. Now, the issue with the exhaust was the reason given for the stop, police said. McCrae responded that he was fixing the car and taking it for a test drive. Police then asked McCrae to identify himself. He reportedly answered, John... When asked for his date of birth, he was quoted as saying, "What is it, 9/20/72?" Police later learned that it was actually November 20th, 1978. Police say they returned to the vehicle after that unsuccessful search of his fake identity. McCrae was inspecting under a rocker panel on the vehicle at the time. He was asked to spell his last name. Police say they then intentionally read back the incorrect date of birth and spelling of his last name, McCrae. September 21st, 1972. McCrae said 72. This is very confusing.
Yeah, it is.
Police then led on that they knew this was not McCrae's correct birthday. The driver was then told he was under official investigation at this point. McCrae was then asked to write down his name and date of birth on a piece of paper. He did so, but his writing was completely ineligible.
Ineligible? He was not eligible.
Yeah, not legible.
Not legible. Okay.
Police asked him to try again, but Prentitt, that too, was not eligible or
legible.
Jesus. This happened a third time, and again, McCray failed to write his name legibly.
Legibly.
Yeah. At that point,
if he couldn't read the story, he should be taken in.
He was taken in.
Yes.
And finally, the University of Tennessee is offering Grand Theft Auto history classes. Students at the University of Tennessee will soon be able to study American history through the lens of Rockstar's iconic open world series. On January 20th, 2026, University will host the world's first Grand Theft Auto College University class. Now, the course is titled Grand Theft America, U.S. History since 1980 through the GTA video games. This was created by a history professor, Tor Olson. It follows his previous Red Dead Redemption history course, which also inspired his book, Red Dead's History, and is an accompanying auto book narrated by Arthur Morgan actor Roger Clark. Olson originally planned to launch the GTA course with Grand Theft Auto 6 included in the curriculum. However, Rockstar's delay of the highly anticipated title to the May 2026 means students will begin the semester before the game actually is released.
Boy, Keith is right. If this were a class at Georgia, the punchlines would be endless.
Olson told this publication, class will examine cultural, political, social history of the United States from 1980 to the present. Each Grand Theft Auto entry will serve as a framework with titles like Vice City Stories, San Andreas, and GTA 5 reflecting distinct eras. My former mother-in-law gave me this as a Christmas gift back in '99.
Grand Theft Auto?
Yeah.
I do not see that as something you would ever be interested in.
I loved it for a minute. I played it hard for like 2 or 3 years, but I've never played it since.
How about that? I would never have gotten that for you for Christmas.
That is Trash Today, brought to you by our friends at Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. And it's almost time to pack up that cooler again of Bud Light and take it to Talladega.
It is indeed. TalladegaSuperspeedway.com. If you want tickets to the Yellowwood 500 weekend coming up, you can get those right now at TalladegaSuperspeedway.com or by calling 877-GO-TO-DEGA, 877-GO-TO-DEGA. It all starts Friday, October 17th with the Craftsman Truck Series playoffs, the Love's RV Stop 225. And then Saturday, you can catch all the great racing there as well, the Xfinity Series playoffs, the United Reynolds 250, and then the NASCAR Cup Series. Yellowwood 500, 1 o'clock green flag. Tickets start at $85. You can get them now. Talladega, Superspeedway.com or 877-GO. To Dega.
If you wear glasses or contacts, I'm speaking from experience, you are wasting money each and every year on those products. LASIK might be right for you. I got it done in 2003. Before that, about a decade, I wore the contacts and solution, was wasting money each and every year. After I got the procedure done, which, by the way, only took 12 minutes for both eyes, 2015 vision better than 2020. Make the phone call that I made, 205-969-8100. Ask for Amy. Tell her the next round sent you. For more information, michelsonlaservision.com.
And our Champy's Chicken sound of the day to wrap things up with, brought to you by Sterling and the crew on Highway 119 in Alabaster. Champy's world-famous fried chicken. Go by there for lunch or dinner. Been open about an hour now. The chicken is cooked to order. So when you order it, that's when it drops in the grease. It comes out piping hot. It's delicious, brined overnight. Hand-cut chicken fingers, perfect for tailgating and for watching the games like Monday Night Football tonight. You can watch it with our friends at Champy's Chicken, champyschicken.com. Luke and Bill said on Monday Morning Live, by the way, you can go back and watch that anytime you want to throughout the week. Some good stuff leading into the big games this week. He said if he was at Virginia Tech or UCLA or any other job that would come open, they'd back up the truck for Kirk Cignetti. I'm not sure Cignetti would leave for either one of those jobs.
They're worst jobs right now.
Yeah. I mean, you've already gone to a college football playoff. You're in the Big Ten.
And he cashed in with a big contract. He's got the best agents in the business, guys we know well. Same agents they have Dabo, that contract that Joel Klatt was talking about. So he's well taken care of in Indiana. And this guy, his job security in Indiana is
that's what I was going to say.
Through the roof.
You know, you take a job as a college coach, 99% chance you're getting fired. These guys just don't get to go out on their own terms. What he is creating is much like what, to a different degree, what Dabo did at Clemson, though. He has already cemented his name in 2 years.
Here's Cignetti after beating Illinois really at their own game over the weekend.
Obviously, I know you guys brought some pressure, but your defensive line really physically whipped them tonight. Just talk about the job those guys did, just the whole defensive front and getting pressure and shutting down an offense that had been scoring a lot of points.
You know, that's what I saw on tape too, and I thought our defensive line could whip their offensive line, and we did. And they came out and played with tempo early, and give him time to throw. He's going to get the ball where it's got to go. And but I think the sacks were huge. The block punt got us going, and then they couldn't stop us. They couldn't match up on the perimeter, and then we broke their will and just pounded them.
Yep.
And he's a good quarterback, but he took a lot of sacks last year too.
He is so confident too.
He is, but he's backed it up.
He has
at every turn, except that Ohio State game, and
that game was closer than the score indicates.
That's what I was about to say.
Yeah.
If not for the missed punt before the half,
and then the punt return right after.
Yeah.
Well, and then when Notre Dame was playing elite defense, they lost by 10 in the college football playoff in a ice cold game. So they were respectable even in their 2 losses last year. But when Mendoza has got 3 more touchdown passes than incompletions, 2 incompletions, 5 touchdown passes, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's an amazing stat over the last few games. Seems like there's somebody else in college football that has that too. Is it Maeva? Somebody else did the same thing. They've got almost more completions, more touchdown passes than incompletion in the last couple of games. A couple of guys like that who are getting it done. All right, a few minutes away, new link will be sent to you for Brock Heward, Lance, and Unlocked. That's coming up, part of the Monday routine. Make it part of your Monday routine. We're back with you tomorrow at 9 a.m. Central Time. Until next time, God bless you and God bless America.